Good evening, pool fans, and it's Judgement night here at the Solihull Snooker and Pool Centre in the centre of the country. 6 top IPA players are playing tonight, and it's going to be an absolute cracker of a day's action. There's the league table. We've already lost number 1 ranked Mark Farnsworth. We've already lost Liam Dunster, the Champions Cup of pool winner. Ben Davies, the world champion, is gone. And so is Rona McCarthy, the runner-up from the Champions Cup of Pool. They've already bit the dust, and it's now who is going to lose out after tonight's games. We're going to drop 2 more players after tonight. Semi-finals and final on Thursday. And look at that list of matches. Very interesting lineup here. And Simon Webb is with me, and Simon is a pro on the pool tour himself. And well, what he doesn't know about the game isn't really worth knowing. Simon, just looking at that list, and the pressure is on Gareth Hibbert and Craig Marsh tonight, isn't it? Oh, absolutely. They've got it all to do. They've got 2 matches each. They probably need to win both those matches to have any chance. Put some pressure on Simon Ward and Jimmy Carney. And the first 2 matches, both of them are playing, so important they get off to an absolute flyer. Yes, there's a little gap there, isn't it? 23, Raybone and Boyle are safe. Ward and Carney are the ones who could lose out to Hibbert and Marsh, and there you go. First 2 matches. It's almost like you've got sort of 2 quarterfinals. If they both go the wrong way, we could be the final 3 matches could be just playing for positions, but really they're through to the semis. If Marsh or Hibbert can win one of those 2 early games, then we've got Marsh versus Hibbert as match 4, and that could be an absolutely enormous match. Yeah, depending on the results in those first 2 games, it really could come down to that match there. Of course, then Simon Ward plays Jimmy Carney to round off the night, and they'll probably still have it in their own hands, but there could be some pressure out there but come that stage. Who knows how this day is going to turn out, and we're going to find out. It's the first matchup, Craig Marsh against Jimmy Carney, and well, these 2, they've already played each other earlier in the round robin section, and it was a 5-2 victory for Jimmy Carney back then. And I think Craig Marsh is an interesting character, isn't he? He doesn't hang around much. He likes to play shots, and I remember commentating on one of Craig's matches, and he was on the black and just basically played and missed a simple black that really should have hit. Yeah, Craig Marsh, former world champion, at his best he is as good as anyone in the world, but he can let his head get to him, and he can lose his emotions out there a little bit, and that affects his game. But when he's on, he's as good as anyone, and he is so stylish to watch when he's playing well as well. Yeah. Well, I'm going to hand over here to Kevin Barton, the IPA chairman. It's a full house on the IPA tour here, so Simon and Kevin, good luck, and enjoy the rest of the evening. It's going to be a great night. I'm going to sit and watch a lot of this in the stands, because it's going to be really good fun to watch. And this is a big match for Craig to win, isn't it? This is really important for Craig to win this one. Yeah, you've got to feel that this sort of is going to set the tone for the night. If Craig gets off to a good start in this match, we saw last week Jimmy, he was probably not at his best. He was a little bit more nervy than he had been through the rest of the Premier League. So if Craig can get off to a good start here, he's going to really be putting the pressure on Jimmy, and it could set the tone for the night. And there's been a bit of musical chairs in the com box, and IPA chairman Kevin Barton has joined me. Good evening, Kev. Evening, and great introduction there from Adrian, and really enthusiastic about tonight, and why shouldn't we be? It's going to be an absolute pool feast. We're going to see a lot of drama, a lot of pressure. We're going to see probably some easy pots missed. I think we're going to have it all tonight. Yeah, we've seen. I think you've hit the nail on the head. We've seen some very, very dramatic pool in the second phase of this league. We've seen some amazing clearances under pressure, but we've also seen the pressure and the shot clock cause players to make mistakes you probably wouldn't normally see them make. Yeah, absolutely. The shot clock. I mean, we've asked the players if they've been getting used to it, and I don't think any of them really have. It is a short period of time, and those beeps are ever present. But interestingly, thinking about the first 2 nights that we've had on this sort of phase 2 of the Premier League. The first night there was quite a lot of draws. It was it was really tight, very close matches, and then night 2 last week, a lot of wins and hardly any draws. So I'm not sure what we're in for tonight. Yeah, I think anything could happen. Absolutely. And it's Jimmy Carney, the man with the first chance. Good first break. He's made a ball. And
And I think it's fair to say, and Jimmy probably said it himself in interviews after his night's work last week, he wasn't anywhere near at his best. Just mentally wasn't there. Made a few mistakes he wouldn't have expected to make. I don't know whether that's going to affect him too much tonight. You know, I think if he gets off to a good start, it probably won't. If he doesn't get off to a good start, then he could start to think about, you know, how last week went and how the pressure will start to build the longer this goes on for him. He probably needs 3 points to qualify.
It's going to be absolutely fascinating to see how it all develops, and every shot, every frame, every point is going to be absolutely critical to securing a space in the last four and finals night on Thursday night here live on Free Sports. It's going to be great drama, great entertainment.
Yeah, Jimmy happy to play a sort of containing safety shot, leaving a couple of lengthy options for Craig, but he knows he's got that bottom corner of the table well and truly sewn up. So in turn, Craig not looking to do anything aggressive, looking for a safety, but hasn't gone particularly well for him.
What he has managed to do is to just make it a little bit messy, just tied up the black and the yellow. But I think Jimmy's, if he's got some options, I think he's going to be looking to have a go at these. 3-ball plan. Just developing, just trying to manoeuvre his yellows, open everything up, and you can see there from that overhead everything's pretty open, but I think Craig's going to spoil it for him.
Yeah, you have to. Jimmy's going to really rue that last shot choice. I think you had that area so sewn up that it wasn't possible for Craig to get a red into there because he wasn't able to get to that red. The shot he played, yes, it opened up all the yellows, but he's gone from being a decent favourite to a decent underdog with that previous shot.
Yeah, but I think Jimmy's going to attack these now and take the one into the middle, and he's going to pop this yellow down the rail off Craig's red and hopefully open that bag up for those 3 yellows. So early chance here for Jimmy.
That's not come out well for Jimmy. He's made the ball off the red as you suggested, Kev, but the red's come back and got in the way of the rest of the yellows, and a bit of a disaster really.
Yeah, this frame has turned around in the last couple of shots, and I think the advantage, even though Jimmy's at the table, I think the advantage is back with Craig, and that's a little thin. And where's that white? Almost went in off it, that thin. I think we'll see a more focused Craig tonight than we did last week. He just wasn't quite there mentally, but I think with the pressure of the situation, I think we will see the real Craig Marsh turn up tonight.
Yeah, he knows he's come here knowing he has to win 2 matches. He's got 2 matches tonight. If he wins them both, he goes to 20 points. He's still going to need help from Jimmy and or Simon, but he'll just be thinking, I've got to get to 20. So in some ways, it kind of you stop worrying about the table, and you're thinking about you just got to win your 2 matches. That's it.
And if Craig can pop this red in the corner and just flick that yellow away, he'll certainly be having a look at these reds. Looks on the overhead that it's possible. A little bit of left-hand side just to spin it in.
It's not come out ideally for him. He would love that yellow to have either stayed closer to the rail or just moved away more. He can probably get onto that red. He can probably get onto it and maybe play it off the yellow if he has to, but there's not much room there for him. I don't know about you, Kev, I can't help but feel this is we're the first frame of the match, but I feel like this is so important. We're playing a 6-frame match. It's a race to 4 3-3 draws possible, but there's so much riding on this first frame. Both players will probably feel like they should have won it now, and it still could go either way.
I'm surprised he played to move that, to be honest. I thought he may have left that red till his last ball, because it did pot with good position. There was a couple of ways he could have got on it, but he was only a fraction off playing that perfectly, and he's still got a good look at this one, but the clock's ticking down. And it causes the mistake, but where's that white going?
Oh wow, he raises his hand, but that is a frame winner of a fluke. Yes, he's missed the pot, but Jimmy is now in all sorts of trouble.
That was one of the worst shots I think I've ever seen Craig Marsh cue. I mean, he just completely quit on the shot and didn't get through it whatsoever.
Yeah, I think that that little shot we've just got of him playing around with his back arm shows that he was he knows what it was as well. But that was a great shot from Jimmy. That is fantastic. In some ways, Jimmy's a little bit unfortunate to leave Craig that gap, because he played the shot so well. And Craig stays favourite for the frame because of the gap that Jimmy left.
Well, I think with a good safety here, I think Jimmy goes slight favourite. He doesn't want that touching.
Timeout.
I think the referee's going to have a closer look at this. He's called timeout to get a closer look.
Ball, time running.
It is a touching ball. Can Craig? It's going to be an awkward one for him to get to, but I think he can.
I think that's it's a great result for Craig. He's just got to decide where he wants to put the white off this situation. So those of you new to the game, he does not need to hit the red before hitting the cushion, because as soon as he hits the cushion, that counts, because he's already judged to have hit the red because it was touching. It made the shot a lot easier for him.
Yeah, I'd like to just wedge that white in a little bit more. This is easy for Jimmy to get out, just needs to be delicate with the touch. And now Jimmy's in a pretty good position. Craig can probably send the white up the top end of the table. He's got to be exact where he leaves this red, and he's a bit short there.
Yeah, I don't think Jimmy can pop this yellow past the red, but he can take control of that pocket, and as soon as he does that, he becomes favourite for the frame. And you saw Craig's frustration when he walked away from the table. He knows that was just a little bit short of pace on both ends.
If Jimmy can take the pocket and just leave the white wedged onto the two yellows on the left to leave awkward queuing, which he has done. He's not quite won the pocket though, so if Craig can pull out something, he's still going to have an opportunity to win the frame. This is so tough, but if anyone can pot it. Oh, what a shot, Craig Marsh. What a shot.
I'm in shock. That's incredible. What a great shot. That was as a frame winner, and as you said, Jimmy didn't take the pocket. Yes, he left the awkward queuing, but because he hasn't taken the pocket, this red now goes, and that shot was worthy of winning any frame of pool.
Just quite cue that as sweet as possible, and hence the white ended up on the side rail, but it should be okay. There it goes. Well, what a topsy-turvy frame that was to get things up and running.
Well, yeah, we're in for a full night of that. Then, wow, I might leave here with grey hair, because that was twisting and turning both ways and had me on the edge of the seat. And here is the league table, and let's get your opinion on how you see this night progressing.
Well, it's quite simple. It's 2 from 4. Our 4 players tonight. Obviously Neil Raybone's already through. Craig Marsh is he's got to get to at least 18 frames with a greater frame difference than Jimmy, and hope Jimmy doesn't score any points. So it's not all in his hands, but all he can do is to win this first match and just move himself up that leaderboard and put even more pressure on Jimmy Carney, who of course has a game in hand on Craig, and that may prove crucial in the end. But points on the board is what it's all about at this stage.
Yeah, I think it's really worked out well for Craig, if he is to stage a comeback tonight, that he gets to play Jimmy first. Because of the way that last week went for Jimmy, if he does beat him in this match, Jimmy will have only won 1 point from his 3 matches so far, and having been right at the top of the table, he's really in the dogfight, and I think you're just ramping the pressure up on him.
Absolutely, and Craig follows that last frame steal with one of his typical huge thunderbolt breaks, and he's potted 3 balls. And looks like he'd probably have a look at reds. Obviously work to do, but he gets first opportunity.
You can make a case for both colour sets here. Reds, obviously, that little cluster around the black is the problem. The reds at the top of the table are wide open. But as all these top players do, when they've got a little problem area, they go straight after it, and that is an exceptional first shot.
That is pinpoint accuracy. Just kiss the white onto the second red to leave that one, and all of a sudden it's looking like in a minute or so it could be 2-0, and the pressure, as we said, is beginning to ramp up on Jimmy Carney.
Yeah, Craig's had to move that up and down the length of the table, and he's landed it absolutely pinpoint perfect, and made what was a tricky area of the table look very, very simple. He's 1 good pot here away from winning this frame.
Yeah, had a look at the difficult one of the 2, but played it well.
I was a little bit surprised he didn't take the cut down the rail, because that's why I said 1 good pot wins the frame, but he's played a brilliant positional shot, and it's even better from where it is now.
Doesn't want to be straight. That's not the best angle. Can he just bounce the white out? Can he run it through? Can he screw it back? Looks like he's screwing back.
Good, like a bounce. He's got one. He just needs to cue this well.
Missed it. Yeah, could see straight away a lot of pressure. Every shot, there's so much pressure on. You've got to make it as simple as possible. And this stemmed from the shot before, where he was just a little bit careless with the positional play. He had a really big area to get into that he could have left himself a nice easy angle to bring the white a lot closer to the black, and made his work a little bit more tricky. And at this stage, with all this pressure, you need to be making it as easy as possible.
I think to me that missed black, and it wasn't so much the fact he missed the black, it was the way he missed the black. It was a sort of decelerated on the shot. He didn't cue through it. It wasn't a Craig Marsh bit of cueing. I've watched Craig for many years, and he cues the ball as well as anybody, and he normally just pumps them in without thinking. That just to me shows how much pressure is out there today.
Absolutely, but it's just typical of Craig and Mark pot this. It's hit the yellow first.
1 free shot, 1 visit.
And you can see there, Craig really showing his frustration. He doesn't, that's one of the things to always watch out for with Craig. How does he deal with the mistakes he makes? I think he can play the game so well at times that he just expects perfection all the time, and any mistake he just gets so frustrated with. When he won the World Championship, he did not do that. He managed to keep control of his emotions so much better than he does at the moment. That's not the greatest shot from Jimmy. It's okay. He's just left a slightly bad angle on the yellow that he's on. He's going away from his work rather than towards it.
Yeah, I think ideally he didn't want to pot that. He just wanted to set it up over the bag, and then he could have made sure he had the right angle on this one into the centre. So now he's going to have to manoeuvre this white round the table a bit. And he's okay. He's not perfect on anything, but he's okay. suspect he'll take the one into the bottom right corner as we're looking, the one nearest the baud line.
I'm a little bit surprised. Obviously, you called it straight away that he was going to go around the angles. I thought he might just drop it in and leave himself dead straight on this, the yellow he's about to play now, from distance, because if you're straight on that, it's perfect. That's a lovely controlled shot from Jimmy. Should not be any mistakes from here.
Well, I think you may. For your sake, I hope you've not put the commentator's curse on him.
If I have, I hope no one tells him.
Yeah, I think with the pressure on every shot, I think anything could happen tonight. Absolutely anything. But he's done the hard work. Forced the error from Craig Marsh with a good safety and ties things up 1 frame all.
Yeah, and Jimmy's going to be absolutely delighted to get on the board, because he would have fully expected to be 2-0 down there. He would not have expected Craig to miss that black. And it sort of turned the tables. Craig was punishing a mistake from Jimmy in the previous frame, and now, you know, Jimmy's got the opportunity to do the same to Craig. If Jimmy can find a good break now, then it could be Craig that's made to sit there and think about that mistake.
Yeah, so can get the nose in front before we go to the break, and it's just vital for different reasons for both players, and that's what makes tonight so fascinating. Who can secure the spot in Thursday's final?
Yeah, Jimmy's looking very focused. Craig's doing his best not to let that previous mistake frustrate him too much. Just waiting for his next chance. That's what you've got to tell yourself. When we look back at Jimmy's past results in this event, and you can see there, start of phase 2, he lost 4-1 to Gareth Hibbert, and then drew 3-3 with Mark Boyle. And, having been tied on points at the top of the table in second place after phase 1, he'll be disappointed with his night's work there. If he had managed to win 1 or 2 of those matches, he could have.
There's the white.
Oh, it's a disaster.
There's balls flying in everywhere.
I was about to say, if Jimmy had gone well last week, he would have taken just all the pressure off himself. And it's just going to build and build and build through tonight, the longer he leaves it before he gets the 3 points he needs to qualify.
Another 3 balls putted from the break. It's great stuff, but Jimmy's just going to have to sit and watch now.
Well, having missed that black in the previous frame, this is as good as it could ever get for Craig Marsh. You want an early chance in the next frame. You want to be able to win the next frame and get that out of your head. He's been presented with as good an opportunity as you could wish for. And I'm going to say, if Craig doesn't manage to get these, I cannot see him coming back, even though it's only 2-1, and I know it's only a short race. But he knows he should have won the last frame. If he doesn't win from here, I'd be shocked. But I think he'd struggle to deal with it.
Yeah, I think I agree, but I think these are done. I think the referee will be racking these balls up for frame 4 in the next minute. Cannot see Craig missing these. So really exactly what he needed after that last frame. Just something that he could get put it to the back of his mind and get on with winning a frame. So I think this is a great outcome for Craig.
And it's nice to see actually the way that Craig's gone about this finish, and it's something you'll see a lot of those of you that have watched a lot of the IPA pools, seen a lot of these top players playing. When they get their patterns right, it is just their last 4 balls are just normally roll-ins. There are the stats for this match so far. That reverse dish from Craig Marsh has given him a 2-1 lead, and we will see if he can convert that into a winning position or whether Jimmy Carney can come back, and that will be after the break. Welcome back to the IPA Free Sports Premier League of Pool. We rejoin the match. Craig Marsh versus Jimmy Carney. It's 2-1 to Craig Marsh. It's a 6-frame match, which is a race to 4, but the 3-3 draw is possible. And there was some drama in those first 3 frames, and it's Craig, as I said, that has the 2-1 lead. Looking for a ball to get himself going, but he's come up dry, so a good opportunity for Jimmy to get back to level pegging in this match.
Yeah, just when Craig's thinking, right, just break and dish and get a nice 2-frame cushion, he's probably not thinking it guarantees him the point, because he needs more than a point. But you know, the last thing he wants is a dry break and to straight away hand the table over to Jimmy. But Jimmy's a little bit short on that one. I think he wanted to leave himself more angle. He has got to disturb those 2 yellows on the right. I don't think either pots. He could get possibly in behind them and pot one of the yellows, but he's playing safe. This is always a dangerous tactic against someone like Craig Marsh.
I think, all things being considered, the safety shot is possibly the right choice. Whether that's the right choice of safety shot is another question. He has given Craig a long red to go at, and these reds, they're definitely finish. They're not easy. Need some good positional shots along the way, but everything's kind of got an option.
Yeah, it's a dangerous shot Jimmy played there, and as you say, there's work to do for Craig, but the last thing you want to do is to give him chances, give him options, and get his arm going and get more and more into the match.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I just, looking at the way those yellows were lined up, because he didn't leave the angle on the yellow at the top of the table to disturb those 2 bad yellows, I couldn't see how he was going to get a better angle to get there. Oh, that's a surprising miss.
And just when you think Craig's about to step in, misses one that you'd expect to get, and now hands the opportunity back to Jimmy. And I think straight away he's going to have to attack these 2 yellows and try and spin that white round off 2 cushions and pot one of those 2 yellows that are together into the same pocket. It's all about the pace. I think he's a bit short.
Oh, he is. He's about 6 inches short of perfect. He probably, maybe a fraction more, wanted to reach the cushion on and off maybe. Oh, it was a good angle for him as well.
Yeah, had a good line, but didn't have the pace.
So Jimmy's now looking for another safety shot, and just as difficult to find a good place to hide the white.
Extension called.
You see in the background there, Simon Ward looking on with keen interest. He's still got work to do. We're going to see a bit of him in our next match.
Needs a bit of luck to stop Craig being able to pot the red.
I think Jimmy was trying to get that white welded to the top cushion to really limit Craig's options, but hasn't managed to do that. He still would have been second favourite for the frame had he managed to, but he's given Craig a couple of options of things to go at.
I mean, for drama and excitement, if Craig wins this match, then absolutely anything is possible. So, from a neutral perspective, it would really ramp things up in terms of drama and excitement and tension for the rest of the evening. I'm sure you know, Jimmy and the rest certainly don't want that.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. As IPA chairman, you're more than in a position to want that to happen, because you want as much drama as possible. As a neutral commentator, I'm just calling it as I see it. But absolutely, the way the draw for tonight has panned out, if Craig Marsh manages to win the first match and Gareth Hibbert wins the second match, then we are in for some drama late on tonight.
That's a beautiful positional shot there from Craig. Screwed the white between the gap, brought it back through the same gap. Excellent control there. Just feel like he's inching towards some good form. Starting to stroke them in a little bit more. First frame is a little bit edgy. We saw one shot he played that was totally un-Craig Marsh-like, but seems to be getting through the white a little bit better now.
I think as Craig makes the simple black to move himself through one ahead, he cannot lose in this match, and you should have a couple of chances to try and win it. But just talking about his form in this event, it's a little bit surprising that he hasn't performed better at Phase 2, because he's won the British Professional event a couple of weekends ago, so he's in great form. He also went very deep in the Welsh Championships, or I'm not sure exactly what they call it, but basically the biggest event in Wales. He made it through to the semi-finals, and it took a great performance to beat him there. So away from the Premier League, he's absolutely flying at the moment. But there you can see his second phase performances. Lost 4-2 to Mark Hoyle, then 4-2 to Neil Raybone, and just about managed to get out with a draw against Simon Ward in his first 3 matches. And that's a surprise considering how he's been playing outside of the Premier League.
Yeah, and remember he was 3-0 up in that match against Simon Ward, and Ward found a way back to scrape a point. So that was a bit of a hammer blow there for Craig. But yeah, I mean, he's only had 2 victories in the Premier League, which for a man of his calibre, remember he's 2017 world champion. To only win 2 matches just shows how tough it is.
Yeah, and some people might point to the shot clock, but if you were doing a quick poll before the tournament started about who would struggle with the shot clock, Craig wouldn't be high on your list, because he's one of the quicker players, certainly one of the most fluent players on the tour.
Yeah, I can't believe it's the shot clock. I think it's just testament to how tough this Premier League is, and yeah, it's all on the day. He's just not had enough good days, but there's still time for him to turn it around. That's the beauty.
Well, Jimmy's mishit that break and made 2 balls. Funnily enough, Jimmy was having a practice before the night started an hour or 2 ago, and I was racking the balls up for him, and he hit 3 or 4 perfect breaks on the trot. He couldn't have hit them better and made nothing, and he said, I'll miss hit one in a minute and make it, and that's exactly what's happened. He has mishit this break and come out very well.
Yeah, he's actually a little bit unlucky how they have come out, to be fair. It's a good smash, and the white just sort of ramped up against that red ball. Would have liked something a little bit easier. But, he just needs to judge this one. He's going to put the one over the corner bag. And I think if I was him, I'd just be trying to flick this yellow, not too hard out of the way to leave the one down the bottom rail. Played that pretty well.
Yeah, controlled nicely, but he knew that he was going to be leaving himself a little bit of a tester along the rail now, because he needs. The reason I say it's a tester, he needs to get the white back out into open play. The pot, it's not too bad. It's the pace he's going to be injecting into it.
Yeah, I suspect he'll just pot it and bring the white off, maybe around about 10 inches. I think it's done about 14.
Yeah, but the pace, even with that pace, it's still wobbled. It makes the pot, definitely puts more pressure on the pot the way he had to play that. But he's managed that, and in good shape now.
Yeah, and he's got a big bag, so he may just try and pinch a little bit of this. He's going to play the red off the cushion, off the yellow, just to get a better position. No, he's gone for it straight. I thought he may have just aimed the white maybe 4 inches before the cushion, play it off the yellow, then he could have sent the white further to the right hand side and left this red a lot easier. So this is still has got to be made. No problems.
Well, that's a great response from Jimmy Carney. Responds to that reverse dish from Craig Marsh with a break dish of his own. And whilst we said earlier on, it's no issues for Craig. There's no advantage for Craig Marsh in getting a draw. A draw for Jimmy Carney, because it's against Craig Marsh, is absolutely fine.
Yeah, it's a good result. He stops. Not only does he get the point, he stops Craig getting 3, and puts himself in a good position. And he did come into phase 2, joint top with Simon Ward after a fantastic performance, it has to be said, in the first section of the Premier League. You know, certainly not what the bookmakers were predicting, and he confounded a lot of people with some great performances, some great victories, and yeah, was riding high at the top of the table. The second phase hasn't quite gone to plan, but he's still in there battling away.
Yeah, we had a quick look there at his recent highlights. This is over the last 2-3 years on the IPA tour, and you saw a lot of Jimmy's good work has come in the last 12 months, and now we'll have a look at Craig's as well.
I get a chance to look at those later because there's a lot to get through.
Yeah, even the referees racking the balls up so quickly we can't show you everything we want to show you, but
again, Craig dry, and you know, he was 3-1 up, and we've seen it time and time again. 3-1 up. All he wants is one chance, one opportunity to secure the frame and take the 3 points. And yet again, dry, and you know, again, first opportunity to Jimmy Carney. Can he take advantage? Can he put this red that's just to the left of the yellow that he's aiming at? If he can.
I don't think he's sure.
I think sorry, Simon. I think he can flick it in, but he's going to have to play it with a little bit of side, I think, to just to create the angle. It's a risk. It's a risky shot, but I think he doesn't want to really take yellows. But I think he feels like he's being forced into yellows.
Yeah, it must have been. He probably could have played the shot you were talking about, but if he doesn't make it, you've just handed the match away. So choosing to go for yellows instead, much tougher finish. He's got a couple more problem areas. It looks like he's gearing himself up for a double on this yellow. This is his biggest problem on the table.
This could be frame and match ball. He's narrow.
Oh, he's had a good result though. Yes, he's narrow, and I'm not gonna say he knew where the white was finishing, but I think he had a clue that he may be leaving it fairly safe should he miss. I don't think he could have believed he's got it as good as he quite has, but he would have been on his. You know, he may not have been on the yellow at the top, but that was the plan.
Yeah, because if he gives Craig any sniff at all, then he's definitely going for frame and match.
So those of you slightly confused by that Craig's he's on reds, walked to the table, played a yellow. The referee called touching ball, which was a big advantage for Craig. Had he not been touching, then it would have been so hard for him to limit Jimmy's chances.
It's not too bad. It doesn't guarantee him another shot, but just makes it a little bit more tricky for Craig.
Yeah, he's got a couple of options. He may be able to put the one to the bottom right as we look. The one he's nearest to may go to the bottom left, but it's the bottom right he's looking at. Okay, so this is Craig Marsh's chance. He's not going to be looking for any safety options here. He is going for the finish. He is trying to win the match at this opportunity.
To keep his Premier League survival intact.
And that's not the best shot he's ever played. I was going to say to the two reds that are near the yellow to the bottom right, if the top one of those two goes off the jaw, off the yellow over the pocket, that opens everything up for him. But he may not be able to hold on that now. He's just about hanging on to this finish. We saw Craig Marsh pull out an unbelievable full length of the table pop from a Chinese snooker earlier in this match. He needs to pull out another awkward queuing cut into the centre pocket.
Yeah, I think he'll look to take the one into the centre, bounce the white, maybe 6-inch off the cushion, then leave this red into the top right corner. Played that well.
Yeah, that's a great shot. Those of you wondering what I'm on about, Chinese snooker is when you're having to cue over a ball that's kind of in front of the white. Don't know why they call it that, but that is what they call it.
I think if that red nearest the black goes in the corner, this bottom left, I think he'll take that now. He's just got to manoeuvre the white ball, maybe around off 3 cushions.
There's an argument for taking the one in the middle of the table up to the just a stop shot.
Yeah, I think that might cause him a little bit of difficulty on the positional side, though, when it comes to the one nearest the yellow on the right hand side.
He's just got a little bit too much angle, hasn't he, on the one he's nearest to?
Yeah.
Needs a good positional shot here.
Oh, he's judged that so well. It's a great shot. That could be the shot that keeps him in the Premier League. Just going to screw this back, maybe 6 inch, just past where the white is now. Put this last red into the bottom right corner, spin the white round off 2 cushions into the same pocket where this red's going. Could play it into the centre, but I think he'll come round into the same pocket.
That he has, and he is perfect.
Little tap of appreciation there from Jimmy. And great performance, Craig Marsh. He's still in the Premier League.
He is, he's hanging on. That is his 3rd win this season in the Premier League. He's just about hanging on to his chances, but a great performance from Craig. Very, very nervy from both players in that opening frame, but a fantastic pot length of the table from Chinese snooker really got Craig going and put Jimmy under pressure, and he comes out 4-2 victory.
Yes, it keeps his Premier League lifeline alive, and he lives to fight another day. Not even another day, later on tonight.
Yeah, we will see Craig Marsh again tonight, and Jimmy Carney. Next up for us, it will be Gareth Hibbert versus Simon Ward, and that will be after the break. Welcome back to the IPA Free Sports Premier League. We have just seen Craig Marsh beat Jimmy Carney 4-2 and keep himself in this year's Premier League. He moves himself up to 17 points. He still has one more match left. He'll still need to win that, but he still has a chance. Next up for us, it's Gareth Hibbert versus Simon Ward. And you can see there by the table that both players have work to do, but Gareth has got more to do than Simon. He's going to need to win this match and his second match tonight to have any chance. Simon, a win here and it will seal his qualification for Thursday night's finals night. And just like the previous match, it is a 6-frame match. It's a race to 4. A 3-3 tie is possible. And there is Gareth Hibbert. He has won the lag and he will break first in this match. And there is Gareth's recent results. And you can see second phase, he had a 4-1 win versus Jimmy Carney, but then back-to-back losses to Neil Raybone and Mark Boyle has really halted his progress and left him with a lot of work to do tonight. We'll have a look at Simon Ward's. An interesting night from there on the first night of phase 2. Managed to get 3 draws, but because he finished top of the table after phase 1, those 3 draws actually didn't hurt him too much because he's still got everything in his own hands.
Yeah, it was a really strong start for Simon. 4 wins out of the first 6, put him right up there at the top with Jimmy coming into phase 2. His progress has just been halted a bit by those 3 draws, and whilst I think at the time he was sort of pleased with those, particularly as he was behind in every match, the results that happened last week mean that he's still not certain of being in the semi-finals.
No, but he'll just be glad that it's in his own hands.
This is a huge match, absolutely huge match, and both players need something out of this match. Gareth Moore, if Gareth wins this match, we're in for a real classic evening of pool and drama. We've said it before. It's just great to watch. It's great to watch the story unfold.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Looking at the league table and studying it beforehand, you kind of had to feel for Gareth to get through tonight, he's going to need to win both matches. So it's a bit like Craig before him. He just needs to come here and not study the table, not worry about the table, play each match and just try and win. And the rest takes care of itself. In some ways, that kind of can clear the mind a little bit.
Yeah, and for anyone who doesn't know, Gareth is an ex-world champion, won the title in superb fashion 2016, and again, cometh the hour, cometh the man. We saw Craig Marsh pull a victory in the first match against Jimmy Carney, and can Gareth follow suit?
He hasn't played the best of positional shots on that last shot. He's a little bit awkward on this pot to the corner.
Yeah, needs to screw it back about a foot, 18 inches for the red nearest to black into the centre. I think this is all about the positional side.
He's played that very, very well. Much better shot than it looked. And from here, he shouldn't have any problems. Just needs to mind his work and make the pots, but no positional heroics required. I think he's got a fair bit of angle on this red, but I think he's okay just to be able to drop this on and off the cushion and leave the black simply for the centre. If not, he'd have to come across it. Now he could hold a touch of check side just to kill the white. And there it goes. In a match that he absolutely has to win, Gareth Hibbert has made the perfect start. A great break and a break and finish to put himself 1-0 ahead. And I think Kevin Barton has made the long journey across to the interview area, and hopefully you're going to get a few words with Craig Marsh. And let's go to them now.
Greg, much needed victory. Keeps it all exciting and the edge of your seat stuff for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, well, that's what we want, isn't it? That's what the rest of the viewers want as well. Not so easy for us lot out there, but yeah, it does keep it exciting. Good.
First frame, bit of a mixed bag. You missed a shot that normally you'd get 10 times out of 10, and then you pulled out that amazing shot where you were bridging over the red ball, and you sort of seemed to settle into the match after that.
Yeah, I missed a bit of an horrible black in the next one as well, but luckily I didn't get punished for it, and I managed to get over the line again.
So all victories, that's all you focused on tonight?
Yeah, well, that's all I can do. I can't any draws or any losses, and I'm out. So I have to win my 2 games and pray that the results go my way.
Have you been working out all the permutations on your way up tonight?
I've had a little look, but there's so many ways for so many people to get through. But I just sort of concentrate on my 2 games first, and then just hope. I think.
Time running.
Looks like it's going to be a really exciting night. Can you enjoy it?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I always enjoy it anyway, but I do enjoy a little bit of drama as well. So that's good. That's good for the viewers as well, I think.
Okay, well, good luck for the rest of the night, Greg.
Cheers, thanks. Cheers.
Great to hear Craig Marsh in pretty high spirits, and why not? It was a good win that he's keeping himself in this tournament. He's going to need one more, but for now he is doing all he can. And after that breaking dish from Gareth Hibbert, it's a dry break from Simon Ward, so a chance for Gareth Hibbert to really get off to a flyer in this match.
I think Simon Ward's going to have to wonder what he's got to do in this second phase of the Premier League just to get a foothold in a match early doors. Every match he's been at least 3-2 down. He was 3-0 down to Craig a couple of weeks back, and again he's 1-0 down. And Gareth at the table, he's going to be maybe a little frustrated, I think.
Yeah, it's probably a bit more work in this finish for Gareth than there was in the first frame, but he'll still be just pleased that they're all there. He doesn't need to create any cannons or develop anything. Everything has a pocket. It's just precise positional play required, and that is normally what Gareth is so good at. You can see the one down the rail, the one his cue is next to now, he would love to leave that for his last ball just to be able to drop on the black, but I think he's going to have to go a different way and perhaps move the black on this shot.
Yeah, worked that out well. You don't become a world champion for nothing, and Gareth Hibbert is top draw. He is one of the very best, and I can see him thriving in this situation. Knows what he's got to do. Just play his game. You can see he's playing with great composure. Nice positional play. Fully in control. Not letting the situation get to him at the moment. He's left the white purposely tight on the cushion. He's got a tiny little angle, so he's really going to have to punch this one in to get the white away from the cushion. Just maybe if he can get the white out, maybe a foot. No, he couldn't even punch it out. Decided to screw back.
And you saw that little grimace from Gareth. He shows very little emotion at the table, so when you see a grimace from him, you know it's awkward.
I think he thought he could just miss that yellow, screwing the white back, and it just glanced the yellow and took some of the pace out of the table, out of the shot. And time's running down. He's no extension. He's putted a great shot, but where's the white going to be? It's run too far. So he's got a couple of options. Can he play the black off the yellow? Yeah, he's just looking at that now. He can either play that or he can try a delicate one into the centre. Big shot. Which way is he going? I think he's going to the centre. It looks close. Oh, he just caught the near knuckle.
Wow, that's incredible. The minute he hits this, I thought that's a great shot, that's in. And it just grazes the near knuckle and goes all the way along the lip. Look at this. Oh, that's unlucky. It's a good effort. Simon comes to the table with a fairly open table. Just those two yellows to the top left. They all need a nudge to be opened. So he's just looking for a good angle on one of the yellows in the open to be able to go into those two. Wants to do it sooner rather than later, so that if he doesn't get the nudge he wants, there's still an option of other yellows available at the other end of the table. Right. So he's gone straight after it, and he would have loved another inch or two on that nudge. I'm not sure it's come out enough. He may need to go back into them again. Yeah, and this camera angle shows that there is very little room for those yellows. I wasn't sure if he'd nudged the top one far enough away to be able to play on it, but I don't think he has. Another nudge required. And don't worry, that little noise in the background, that's the shot clock. He did hit the shot before the shot clock timer ran out, so he's okay, he didn't foul.
Yeah, he was always going to leave the white at the bottom end of the table, but leaves Gareth a shot.
Oh, that's a great effort. So close to the in off, so close to making the pot down the rail, but he doesn't drop.
And has he left Simon Ward a nice angle to pot this one into the left centre and try and disturb those two yellows? He has, but he's not come out too good.
I think he'd be happy. I think he'd be okay. He can pot the one at the bottom end of the table. Yes, it's a full length shot, and yes, it's straight. But if this goes in, the rest should be simple. And there it is. Shouldn't have any issues from here.
That was a very good, confident long pot under a lot of pressure from Simon Ward. And this looks pretty good now to tie things up at one frame all. Just spinning that white round with lots of right hand side off two cushions. And a nice easy black that Gareth left over the pocket. A few shots back. In it goes.
Frame.
So this match taking a very similar shape to the first match. Gareth Hibbert, who needs the victory to have any chance, wins the first frame, but Simon Ward manages to win the second frame after two missed blacks from Gareth. And there is Simon's recent highlights over the last 2-3 years on the IPA tour. One of the most consistent performers, seems to win at least an event a season. And you can see there he's had a number of finals, winning the Welsh Open, beating John McAllister in the final is his most recent victory.
Yeah, but he's one of the IPA consistent performers, and usually if he gets past the first and second rounds, he's usually a good bet for a semi or a final. Tends to up his game the more he gets into the competition.
Third frame,
And
great scores.
as mentioned before, around that World Championship final, one of the greatest matches in pool history, where he just lost in that deciding frame to Ben Davis.
Oh, great. Gareth was hit that break so well, you could almost feel his eyes dancing around the table going, surely one's got to drop. Half the time with the break, the player is almost listening as well as watching, waiting for that rattle of the ball hitting the bottom of the pocket, and it came quite late, but he has made a ball. it's quite an interesting layout because in an ideal world you want to be reds. He doesn't have a great red to go at. He's got a cut back red past the black. It's not great. Is he eyeing up a 3-ball plant? Oh, he could see the red over the pocket. Apologies, I didn't think he could see that, but he could, but he hasn't played it very well. I think the only red he can play now is the one he's next to. I don't think he can see another red. And, if this doesn't go in, he can pot this to the bottom corner. He's leaving a wide open table for Simon. Oh. Looked like that. Maybe that flicked off some chalk dust or something. I seemed to move away at the end there.
Yeah, I think he thought that was in when he hit it. Hit it pretty well, but somehow didn't go in. I think Gareth's first shot, it was betwixt and between. He could have gone for the more difficult red into the bottom left corner, which was the harder shot. He obviously had the easy one over the pocket, but he would have liked to have left that there to then play the plant for the other red that was on the cushion. So he decided to play safety first and went for the one over the pocket. But I think on a different day, different scoreline, different situation, he may have taken the harder pot, because it did give him the longer term benefits in the frame of the easier finish.
Called.
Simon's really got the one bad ball to work out. That yellow that's nearest the bottom left corner, it's a bit awkward. It will go to the bottom right once the other two yellows are out of the way. But and there is margin of error to play on that yellow, but it just needs to be quite precise. He's still got the same problem. He's still looking for an angle. We can't get there off this next shot because the yellow would still be in the way. So he's got to pop the two yellows to the bottom right first, and then he's got to get the angle to come across for the other yellow. So there's some work here. And what angle does he have? He almost looks. You want more angle on this to be able to sort of screw on and off the bottom cushion. I don't know whether he's got. I think if he screwed straight back, he'd be going close to the yellow. I'm not sure this is great. Oh, he could screw past it, and that's a very good shot. He still needs another one. Needs to be precise with this next shot onto the black as well. You can see where he's pointing his cue. If he overhits this shot, he's going to be blocked off by a red. If he underhits it, similar story. And that looks perfect. Oh, he's not sure. Had to play that with a lot of side to create the angle, and he's absolutely played it to perfection. And he moves himself 2-1 ahead.
That was a superb finish there from Simon Ward. He had a few obstacles to overcome and some precise positional play, and in they go. That was a great finish, top draw.
It really was, and I think it always feels harder when you know that your best positional shot or the hardest positional shot you got to play, you have to leave it till the end, and that's the way that finish worked out. And let's have a look at Gareth's recent highlights. And very recently, 2-3 weeks ago, he lost in the final of the British Open to Mark Boyle. Looked to be in fantastic form all day, but just came short in that final. You see winning the Seniors World Championship back in February. And his last tour victory was way back in October 2016, which seems a long time ago. There's a lot's happened in the last 2 years. It's a surprise he hasn't won more, but that probably says more about how good Gareth Hibbert is rather than anything else. One of the very, very best and most prolific winners we have on the IPA.
Yeah, so if we looked at his stats in probably the 2 years prior to October 2016, we would have seen a lot more victories. There was a couple of years where he was the number one, and he was playing some superb pool, and he's pretty much getting back to that sort of form now. It was really noticeable at the tour event a couple of weeks back that he was really hitting the ball well, looking confident. So it was great to see him back to his top form.
Yeah, it really was. And slightly different graphic this time. Let's have a look at his recent history. So this is pretty much second half of the season, all the way from March, all the way through, and plenty of quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals. He's knocking on the door, just missing that that trophy, really. Now, with Gareth Hibbert really needing a win and a win only, he is pretty much needs to win the last 3 frames in this match to have any chance of qualification, and he immediately gets an opportunity off a dry break from Simon Ward.
Well, just threatened centre pocket, but didn't quite make it.
Extension called.
Again, there's nothing straightforward for Gareth. He'd just loved some nice easy clearance just to level things up at 2-all, and all the reds nice and out in the open, but just that one nearest the black that is blocked, and the yellows not really a good enough alternative, so he's going to have to take the reds and try and use some creativity to develop that red.
Yeah, from our main camera angle, it looked like he was going to have a lovely angle on one of the reds to the bottom left, top left as we now look, to go into that bad red. But the obvious red to do it off is not a full pocket, and when you're injecting pace from distance, it makes the pot very, very tight.
So he's going to try and do it off this red into the corner. Needs to be precise.
He's played that so well. I was just saying there really wasn't a full pocket for that shot, and to play with that precision is fantastic.
Yeah, that was quality. Just when he needed it. That's the thing. If that shot had gone wrong, he would have been in a whole world of trouble.
He's used his extension already, so he's under a bit of time pressure here. We've mentioned it a couple of times, but it's a 30-second shot clock. 1 30-second extension per frame. And every time you hear those beeps going, that means that's the start of the last 10 seconds. So you hear those beeps going a lot as a player, and can almost get you rushing. It takes a little bit of getting used to.
Yeah, I think you can tell how well Gareth's queuing is that he's getting quite a lot of reaction off the white ball with very little effort. It's usually a sign that that they're queuing well.
I think he's a little bit annoyed with that. I think he wanted a bit more. He wanted to be able to pop this red to the bottom left and not cannon into the yellow above it. He doesn't want to risk that yellow getting in the way of the other red, so maybe looking for an alternative route now.
Yeah, I think he can play the one at the top, playing ball. He's had a little bit of a help there, but I thought he could maybe just play it playing ball, hit it quite thick and bring the white up and down, but could just create enough angle there with the bottom and side that he played. He just wanted the white anywhere in that right hand side of the table, basically.
He's played that very, very well. Looks to be straight enough on this just to be able to drop this in the middle, and the black will be there for him.
I think he might have to come down off the bottom cushion.
Absolutely did, but played that very, very well, and simple black.
That's a quality clearance again there from Gareth. Nice reverse dish. keep his hopes alive in the Premier League.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's exactly what he needed to do. And this shows it. He's on 15 points in 6th place. Top 4 qualify for Thursday night finals night. He needs to get into the top 4. You have to feel he needs to win both of his 2 matches tonight. If he does, he'll go to 21 points, and he'll still need some help from Jimmy Carney and or Simon Ward.
Yeah, if he can win this match, if he can somehow win these next 2 frames, Gareth Hibbert will go 4th in the table and put Jimmy Carney into the drop zone. That's how close it is. It'd be by 1 frame advantage. That could be what it comes down to at the end of the night.
No, it really could. The only thing Jimmy would have in his favour is the fact that he gets to play 2 more matches tonight and Gareth 1. But you can't. If you're Gareth Hibbert, you almost mathematically you're probably not out with a loss, but you're unlikely. You're very, very unlikely.
It could come down to alphabetical order. It's that close.
Yeah. So it will come down to if they're tied on points, it will come down to frame difference. After that, we'll have to consult the rule book. Fortunately, we have the IPA chairman here, who no doubt has that to hand.
Never leave home without it. Oh, Gareth Hibbert, what have you done? Straight into the centre pocket. It's the worst thing he could have done.
And look at the table he's left. Watch this white. This is driver error. Straight into the middle pocket. I've watched Gareth play for a number of years, and I think that's the worst break I've ever seen him hit. I've never seen him play breaks where the middle pocket are in play for him. Gareth is one of those players that likes to bring the white straight up the centre of the table. So when Gareth's not breaking well, sometimes the corner pockets are in play. But the middle pocket means he's absolutely mishit that break. Saw that bad reaction from Simon there. As soon as he hit that, he realised he didn't get what he wanted there.
Yeah, he was looking to develop both the yellows in one shot. Clever shot, but can he clip this yellow in that's nearest the white ball? It looks like it can from the overhead, but
may have an option for a yellow at the top end of the table. He won't be interested in reds at all.
Thinks he can slice it in. It's a thin one. Where's the black?
Oh. Wow.
It still made it a little bit tricky. His heart must have been in his mouth there. I think even Gareth Hibbert raised an eyebrow, and that's a lot coming from him.
It really is.
It all happened in that shot.
But as you say, he's lucky in a way that black didn't go in, of course, but he's still got problems because the black's gone to an awkward place. So he's going to probably be looking to move it off his next shot.
Yeah, so some right hand side on this.
He's made the shot, but he's a little bit closer to his work than he'd like. He'd love to have another few inches gap between the yellow and white, but I think he's got just enough angle to be able to get the white back into open play.
Yeah, what he's going to have to be careful of is, as he gets towards the end of this clearance, is because the black's near the cushion, his last yellow, which will be the one into the top right corner, he needs good position on that to make sure that he can get onto that black that's on the cushion. If it was a little bit more out in open play, he wouldn't need to be so precise. So it's all going to come down to that positional shot in 2 shots time. So he won't be too bothered about the distance. It's all about getting the right angle. He wants to be just off straight, probably just to the right of straight.
That's just about okay. It's probably a fraction more angle than he would really want. Is he going to just drop it in and accept a tougher black, or is he going to try and put a trace of right-hand side to try and get right behind that black?
Looks like a little touch of right. Played it well. That was a great shot.
It really was.
this black. And that secures him the point. I think he knows that point is a big point in the context of qualification.
Yeah, I think that point puts Simon in a position where Gareth can now no longer catch him. In fact, I know that Gareth can't catch him because Gareth can only get 4 points now. He needs to win this last frame to get a draw and then win his last match for 4 points. And I believe Craig could only get to 20 anyway. So I think that point from Simon secures his qualification.
I think the puff of the cheeks when he won that frame. I think he does. I think I was speaking to him earlier and he'd worked out all the permutations. And I'm sure he said to me if he gets a point with Gareth, then he's through. So
yeah, some players don't want to look at the table, don't want to work it out, they just want to play. Simon is not one of those. He really analyses the table, works out all the different scenarios and what can happen, and knew exactly what he needed to do coming in tonight.
So this next frame, absolutely critical for Gareth Hibbert's Premier League survival. Whilst there's still hope, he's just got to keep battling, somehow try and win this frame, get a point on the board, and then you just never know.
Absolutely. If he wins this frame now, he can still get to 19, and with Jimmy Carney in 4th place on 18, it's still a chance. But Simon's made a great break. He's made 2 balls. He's got a great split. But I think if the red that he's nearest to goes, then he's got a great chance here on reds.
And I think knowing he's made the final stages with that point, I think he's going to be a bit more relaxed, and I won't be surprised to see him take this finish out.
And that red did go, and he's okay. It's not perfect, but he's on the next red. Has a red to the centre pocket. Needs a good. Oh, is he straight enough that he could just drop this in? I think he is. From the main camera angle, I thought he had a bit more angle, but that looks not too bad at all.
Drills it into the centre pocket. No fear of any bounce outs or anything unusual happening. Played with plenty of confidence. He's strutting round that table like a man who knows he's in the semi-finals.
Yeah, I think you can almost tell by his mannerisms around the table that he knows he knows the situation.
Simon will probably just spin this white off 2 cushions, top rail, side rail. Just bring the white behind his last red, which will be the one just to the left of the white ball, cue ball, into that top corner bag. Doesn't want to get too much side on this. He's got to judge it correctly. And a little bit of misjudgment there. Is that a lifeline for Gareth Hibbert?
Well, it's going to be very, very tough for Simon to make the red from here. He may even have to come cushion first and try and make it in the centre pocket, but if he does make it, the white is going a little bit loose as well.
If anyone can get this shot, it's Simon Ward. No problem. Has he got a gap?
Total snooker.
No, he's called total snooker. For a second there I thought he'd landed, but no, great shot, but no reward.
One of the greatest shot makers in our sport. It wasn't a surprise that he made that.
No, I half expected it, to be honest. I knew he'd go close.
Don't be surprised if this goes in the corner bag as well. Oh, he wasn't far off.
Well, Gareth Hibbert, you wanted an opportunity to keep yourself in this Premier League. You have one, but it's not a great first shot. Do you think you can play the pot to the corner in such a way that you're snookering Simon if you miss, or do you think Gareth doesn't even think that way? He's just thinking about making the pot, and he's not worried about what he leaves if he misses.
No, I think he'll have that in mind. He doesn't need to throw that much caution to the wind. He can go off the pot in a controlled way, and if he does miss it, then he has got a potential safety net of those 2 yellows, just above the, just on the balk line there. But we'll be hoping to make this pot. Missed the pot, but there's the safety net.
Time out.
But with that black near the corner bag, don't be surprised to see Simon Ward get close to this one.
I'm a little bit surprised to see Gareth miss that, if I'm honest with you. Yeah, it almost sounded like a miscue off the cushion. Maybe just flicked the cushion first. It just fully expected Gareth just to commit to that and make it. And if it goes in, there's no question for me he makes the finish. Oh,
And that's what happens.
Simon Ward.
That's what happens when you play someone of Simon Ward's ability, who literally can get out of any snooker and make any shot. I've said before, one of the best shot makers in the sport.
Yeah, that sums up Simon Ward, not just the ready-made, but making that. He had to create that angle off the cushion. It wasn't a natural. Had to screw into the cushion to arc the white, and what a shot that was to win a match. And Simon Ward does move on to the finals night on Thursday. Gareth Hibbert is hanging on to his place in this Premier League, but by his fingernails. And we will be back after the break for Jimmy Carney versus Neil Raybone. Welcome back to the IPA Free Sports Premier League. We have just seen Simon Ward beat Gareth Hibbert 4-2, and that secures Simon Ward's position at the top of the table and books his place in finals night on Thursday. For Gareth Hibbert, it leaves him in 6th place. He has still just about got a mathematical chance of qualifying, but he needs some help as well. Next up for us, we have Neil Raybone versus Jimmy Carney, and it is a lot of pressure on Jimmy Carney. Neil Raybone is already safe and in finals night.
Yes, it's getting very tight here in the Premier League. Simon Ward sits on top of the tree, securing his place in the final. He's there with Mark Boyle and Neil Raybone, and it's 1 from 3. Jimmy Carney, Craig Marsh and Gareth Hibbert, who are going to join them there on Thursday night when we unveil our first ever Free Sports Premier League pool winner.
Yeah, I can't help but feel that this is, with every match that goes by that Jimmy does not secure his place in finals night, the pressure builds. And he's had, he already had three matches where if he'd won any of them, probably would have been enough. So if he doesn't manage to win this one, in fact, does he just need a point now?
Well, his opponent, Neil Raybone, is exactly the sort of player who, very, very consistent, very solid, already comfortable in the facts, knowing that he's here on Thursday. So all the pressure on Jimmy. It's going to be a tough one for him again, but he's shown a lot of qualities in this Premier League, so he can definitely do it. He can definitely do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I just feel like he needs to get off to a better start than he has done in matches so far in this second phase. He really needs to get himself moving forward again and seeing the finishes and taking them out rather than almost trying to hang on to a top 4 place.
Yeah, and these two met earlier, of course, 4 frames all, so nothing between them there. And tonight, best of 6. Can Jimmy get to 4 again and book his place?
Yeah, they also met in the World Championships in the
first frame, Jimmy Carney to break.
I'm not sure what round that was in, but it was the quarterfinals there. It was a deciding frame victory for Neil Raybone. So Jimmy pushed him all the way there in the World Championships.
Yeah, so results-wise, these two are pretty evenly matched. So here we go. It's crunch time. Oh, and that's so unlucky there for Jimmy. That's an incredible little nudge there to knock the white in. I mean, you just can't account for things like that. You just got to sit down and you've just almost got to laugh about it, because what can you do about something like that?
Yeah, that really is bad luck. I don't think he hit the break as well as he can, but he hit it well enough to deserve to make a ball and have a chance not to be flicked in off like that. And when you do that, you give your opponent shot on a visit. Neil has a free shot here to develop the table as he sees fit, and whichever way he decides to go, he should give himself a great chance to go 1-0 ahead.
One thing's for certain, he'll be going for reds. He's used his extension, so just free up this red that's on the left, just so that everything is really out in the open. So probably take the 3 reds at the top of the table first and then work his way down.
Yeah, this finish, it's going to come down to the order he takes the balls in around the black. They unfold really nicely as long as you get nicely on the first one. The other 3 in open play aren't a problem. Of course, Neil's playing with the freedom of a man that knows he's already in finals night. Yes, these points will make a difference where he finishes in the table, whether he finishes 1 to 4, but he is guaranteed a top 4 finish. And in truth, with the quality of players on show, and it's not going to make a huge amount of difference whether you finish 1, 2, 3 or 4. Just want to be in that top 4. He's okay here, but he may have to pull out a very good pot on the last red. If he takes this red and comes backwards, he may not leave himself a very good angle on the last red because of where the black goes. You could just see there, if he comes back, it looks like he'd have to be almost, almost snooking himself on the black to leave himself the correct angle on the red to be able to get back on the black. See, to me, this looks like he's screwing back to either into the black or to the left-hand side. So he may just be forced to just drop this in, leave himself a more awkward black from distance, or from a more awkward angle, I should say, not from distance. He was able to hold the white a little bit more. I thought he was going to be moving the white an inch or two further to the left-hand side, and I thought it'd be an even thinner cut. Makes no mistake with that black, so it is the reverse dish from Neil Raybone, and that puts himself 1-0 ahead in this match. And looking very confident and comfortable. And Kev Barton has made the long journey to the interview area, and he's going to have a few words with Simon Ward.
Simon saw the big puff of the cheeks when you got to 3. You knew you were in the top 4 then?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a bit of a strange run because I had quite a big lead on the other players that were sort of fighting for 4th place tonight. But I knew that I had to obviously get a result from the last 2 matches, so I was chuffed with the draw.
It shows how close it is because with that victory you go back to the top of the table.
Yeah, it's really strange. As I say, I hadn't really looked at what would happen if I'd won. I just knew I needed a point against Gareth, and it's a bit strange because I've played really well last couple of weeks and I've literally had no results to show for it whatsoever. But I felt really good on that finish to go 3-1 up. It wasn't easy. It came up pretty tricky considering I had 2 shots to start. But I was chuffed the way I took them out.
In the last frame, couple of nice exhibition shots to finish off.
Yeah, I'd say I messed up a pretty easy finish, I think, because my concentration had gone a bit because I knew that obviously I was guaranteed top 4. But yeah, I was a bit sort of lucky when I came out the snooker. I left Gareth a tough shot, he missed it, and I played a good shot to win the match.
So we know 3 of the 4 names. Obviously you're there as well. The other guys that are remaining for that final spot, who do you think's in the best shape?
Well, I mean, obviously Jimmy's got the most points, but he's had a bit of a disaster. I mean, like myself, really, we were both of joint top after stage 1, and the lead just got eaten up by everyone else, under the shorter format. So I think he's going to find it tough tonight. He'll do really well to get. He probably needs 3 points, I would have thought. He'll do well to get that tonight, but it's all to play for. Anyone's.
Thanks for your time, Simon.
Thank you. Cheers. Thanks.
Great to hear from Simon. Almost a sense of relief in his tone there. When you start the second phase in a very dominant position, and the longer it goes on, the more the pressure builds on you. And whilst from the outsiders, it's easy for us to say, never really thought it was in doubt. I guess the pressure builds as they're going through.
Yeah, and he just couldn't get out of the cycle of drawing matches, and whilst he's still getting the points, if other people are winning, we saw what Mark Boyle did over the last couple of nights. Draws all of a sudden don't become enough, and we saw the big puff of the cheeks, as we said, and he's there on Thursday for finals night in the top 4, and well done, Simon.
So, as you've said, we know 3 of our 4 finalists. Who will join them? Jimmy Carney, Gareth Hibbert, Craig Marsh. Jimmy is currently in position, but he has work to do.
Yeah, I think he's got to get over the psychological hurdle, as well as the opponent. And he's had a poor run of results in this second phase, so he's got to somehow keep his mind clear and just play the balls, just play what he's done throughout the first part of the Premier League.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't overthink it.
Oh, where's that white gone?
Wow, he's overhit that by a long, long way.
That's what adrenaline does.
I think that was the reason I said don't overthink it. I think he was trying to almost be too perfect there. If he just drops that in, he can use the side cushion, come back across, trace aside maybe, looking for perfection. So recovered the situation well.
Make sure he pots this cleanly, doesn't want to spit out.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing, but I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to jinx him. You've already accused me of giving him the commentator's curse once tonight.
And this black will make Jimmy Carney feel a whole lot better now.
Yeah, reverse dish of his own to draw the scores level at 1-1. Still looking very focused, looking exactly the same as he has done all the way through this Premier League. He works very hard on his focus, I think, and keeping himself in that sort of bubble. And you can see the second phase results at the bottom there that we've been talking about, losing 4-1 to Gareth, but drawing 3-3 with Mark Boyle and losing 4-2 to Craig Marsh. It's really not the start he was looking for to begin with. If he wins any of those matches, he's in a really good position.
Yeah, winning 5 of his matches in the first phase. He got to such a impressive start in the first part of the Premier League. He was probably the standout player in those first few weeks.
Yeah, he finished top of the table, albeit second in the table, but level points with Simon Ward. They were the top 2 players in the first phase, but Neil Raybone very close behind them. And I hate saying it because I know how good Jimmy Carney is, but I think the outside world were probably expecting him to be one of the guys maybe towards the bottom end of the table. But he absolutely was a standout in that first half. I think the thing he just needs to stop, just to think about moving forward again and stop thinking about, if you try and hang on, I think bad things are going to happen. He just needs to almost forget about everything else, forget about the points, forget about the table, just concentrate on trying to beat Neil Raybone. Every single shot, one by one. Oh, he hits this break so much better than his first break.
I thought the white was going to get an unfriendly nudge into the corner bag, but it stayed on the blue surface.
You could just see there with the break, yes, he was really unlucky with this first break to go in off. It got pinballed into the middle pocket, but I don't think he hit the break as well as he can. With that break, you could see the explosion of the pack that he got, much cleaner contact and a much better break for Jimmy, and he's been rewarded with a better opportunity.
Yeah, he's going to get first opportunity, which is all these top players want. Just to give themselves a chance. If you don't get chances, you can't win. It's impossible. Stating the obvious, but
that does happen at this high level in these short races. Simon touched on it in his interview. He didn't feel like he played that badly in last week's matches, but his opponents played fantastic and kept him off the table and limited his opportunities, and sometimes that can happen. That's a poor shot from Jimmy. You can see the disappointment on his face. He's trying to get on that red onto the top rail as we look, and he has cannoned the yellow. Nothing obvious for him to go at from here.
I don't think he's got a pot on at all. Certainly nothing direct into a pocket. Yeah, it's a bit of a careless one that from Jimmy. He could have been a foot away from that yellow ball. He shouldn't have been anywhere near it. Oh, is that going to get a little nudge?
Oh, it nearly did. It nearly did.
But yeah, it was a bit of a it was a poor positional shot really, from Jimmy. He shouldn't be anywhere near that yellow ball. He had lots of room to manoeuvre the white ball into. But anyways, probably still marginal favourite in this frame. Depends what Neil can pull out here. I think he can take this one into the top centre as we're looking. But,
yeah, these are the sort of situations watching Neil for a lot, is that you can leave him a situation on the table where you think it's pretty messy, he's not really got much of an opportunity on. 2 shots later, you're looking at the table going, oh, these are really easy. He seems to see these clever shots to open up games very, very quickly.
Yeah, he's playing a safety.
On this occasion, it's the safety he's gone for. As you say, he'll be happy with that, though. He'll be happy. Hasn't left an open pot on for Jimmy. The reason I was saying that what I did was I know he was trying to get that yellow to cover the bottom left-hand pocket as well, but it's not a problem from here.
Jimmy's looking at the red above the black. If it goes into the middle bag, because he's going to go for this one on the right-hand side of the table. He's really got to commit to this shot. He can't, in or over is no good to him. He's really got to commit. I don't feel as if he fully committed to that shot. It was more of I won't say a hit and hope, but it was a little bit, it needed a little bit more authority on the shot.
And that's probably sums up his phase 2 performances so far. Maybe just a touch tentative. This time Neil does cover up that pocket, and he was in the driving seat anyway, but he's even more in the driving seat with that shot.
Yeah, and the clever part about that shot was not just the covering the bag to stop the red going into that pocket, it was where he left the white ball. So he left the white ball in a place where Jimmy has really got no pot to go at, and really sort of turning the screw, Neil, in this situation, in this frame. Neil with a wealth of experience, been at the top for some time now. A little bit careless there, would have liked to have just bounced that off the cushion a little bit more.
Yeah, still in complete control of the frame though. There's not a huge amount Jimmy can do to turn this around. He's chosen not to go for a finish. I wondered whether he would go for it just because he's going to lose this safety battle if he keeps playing it the way he is, whereas he has an option to get the white down into the bottom right hand area of the table and leave himself a back double on that red. Yes, it's a tough shot, but that may be as good a chance as he gets to win this frame from here.
Yeah, so what Neil's trying to do is just to leave the white in a position that Jimmy can't get this red out that's down near this cluster of yellows. So just forcing Jimmy just to keep nudging this red at the top of the table. So a little bit of a weak one there from Jimmy. So I think we'll see Neil. I wonder if that yellow. So the 2 yellows just to the right of the white ball. I wonder if that can clip back into this corner pocket, going off the red.
Yeah, it looks like that the shot possibly on. The black may be in the way. No, the black isn't in the way. The shot is absolutely on, and it's a great call there, Kev. And now he's gifted himself an opportunity to win this frame.
Yeah, everything goes. The yellow in the sort of top right hand corner goes in the centre, probably goes in the corner as well, but I think Neil will be playing that into either centre depending on his position on this after potting this ball. Probably would have preferred to have taken it next pot, but as long as he leaves himself the right angle, he can get the white down the table. But yeah, he's just got to be a little bit careful with this one. He's going to take it now. It's into a blind pocket, as we call it, so a little bit trickier, but played to perfection.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised he didn't clear the bottom end of the table, sorry, the top end of the table first, and then come down for these 3 and just accept he's going to take the black to the top right. And the way he's played it this way round, it's almost saying I'm going to use the yellow at the top end of the table to get on the black into the centre.
Yeah, I think he refused potting that a few shots back because he just couldn't quite guarantee himself good position on the one into the centre after it. So decided to take that first, and yeah, as you say, he's going to travel the white up and down the table a little bit, but it's not too bad. All he's got to do is get the white anywhere near the centre of the table. This looks like a perfect angle. Just run this through, bring the white down a foot and a half for a nice easy black into the right centre. Maybe a couple of feet.
Let's play that with just a trace of check side to avoid the red. No problems. Simple black to move 2-1 ahead, and in it goes. And Jimmy Carney will definitely feel like it's a chance gone, and will be slightly disappointed with that. But it is Neil Raybone that moves 2-1 ahead.
Yeah, and Craig Marsh patrolling in the background there. He knows the importance of the result of this match.
And now we look at Neil Raybone's recent results in the Premier League, and just been consistent throughout. Yes, he lost a couple of games, but picking up wins and draws all the way along, and was always felt safe with Neil. Kept picking up points all the way through, and managed to get his qualification secure with a week to go, and he will be in finals night on Thursday night. But we will see who will join him, and we'll be back after the break. Welcome back to the IPA Free Sports Premier League. We rejoin the match between Neil Raybone and Jimmy Carney, a match that is much more important for Jimmy Carney than Neil Raybone. He has it all to do to qualify for the finals night, but it is Neil Raybone that has taken a 2-1 lead.
And not much in it there on the stats, both with a reverse dish each. Neil with the dry break, but it's Neil who leads 2-1, which is the important stat on that page. And it's Neil to break. All Jimmy can do is sit and watch. Hope he gets to the table. Neil winding the break up. He's got a ball. And he's got options.
Yeah, I'd be really pleased. If you offered him this chance after every break, you'd take it every single time. I think he's got maybe 1 or 2 shots to play at the start to open things up, but once he makes the first shot or 2, it should all just unfold nicely.
Yeah, I think he's going to be looking at reds. Looks like the easier opener. And they've all got pockets to go into. He may try and pop this red into the right corner and just stun the white onto the yellow. Maybe just try and free it up a little bit from that red. Just make his work that little bit easier.
It just wobbled its way in, but now that it's gone in and he's made the cannon, it's wide open for him. We'll probably just need to be slightly careful when he plays the 2 below the black. But it really shouldn't be a problem.
Usually these sort of clearances are meat and drink to Neil Raybone. He's so consistent. You know, these sort of clearances, he gets in, week out. The fact that he's already qualified for Thursday's finals, he should be nice and relaxed. I'd be highly surprised if he didn't finish this frame off.
Yeah, you can be forgiven for thinking that he hasn't much to play for in this match, but that's not true. There's prize money for every match you win. Plus, you know, you want to go into the finals night number 1 if you can. Yes, it may not matter too much, but you know, you want to go in on that high and go in with as much confidence as possible.
Absolutely. Only 7 seconds. He's used his extension.
Really interesting to hear Neil last week say how much he's enjoyed the shot clock. A lot of people that know Neil and have watched Neil for a number of years would think that he's one of the players that would least like it. But, you know, he is more methodical. He'll say that himself. But it almost makes him commit to the shot quicker.
Yeah, I think what the shot clock does, it sets your mindset right from the very start. You know what you're up against. You haven't really got time to have a good look round. You know, you just need to get on with it. He's just let that one go away a little bit. He didn't pop the ball into the heart of the pocket. He went more into the left-hand side of the pocket as we looked, so which means that the white has gone closer to the right-hand side, which is the cushion. But he's played that fantastically well. Yeah,
such a well-controlled shot. He's raised the butt of the cue to get the cannon on the black, but to cannon it as precisely as he did, to be able to play on it in the middle, is exactly as he played. It's a great shot, and completes a break and dish and moves himself 3-1 ahead and guarantees himself a point, which will move himself up to 23 points, the same as Simon Ward and Mark Boyle. But it's at the other end of the table we're looking, the 4th place, Jimmy Carney, 18 points. Craig Marsh and Gareth Hibbert, 17 and 15 respectively. So Jimmy Carney, yes, he's in position, but he still needs some work because Craig Marsh and Gareth Hibbert play each other next.
Yeah, and the frames difference is going to be key, I think. You know, if Jimmy loses this, he's going to be in negative frame difference, whereas Craig Marsh at the moment is in positive. So you know, it looks like it's between those two. At the moment, you know, Gareth is relying on other results. You know, if Jimmy gets a point, then Gareth can't qualify.
No, but Jimmy's 3-1 down here. If Jimmy goes on to lose this match, which is, it's definitely a good chance, then if Gareth does manage to win the next match, there'll be so much pressure on Jimmy in that final match to get a point just to guarantee his place. So there's a lot that can happen in these last 2.5 matches.
Fifth frame, Jimmy Carney to break trade.
Absolutely.
Time running.
And if Neil does win this, it could almost be a shootout between Marsh and Hibbert, although it is dependent on the last match. But he's still all to play for. And where's the white going? Again. The pool gods are just not being very kind to Jimmy Carney.
Yeah, the only difference is the first break where he got pinballed into the centre pocket was unlucky. This time it's all down to him. He's mishit that break, come straight across it, and white straight into the centre pocket like that. It's always the player error.
Extension call.
So I think Neil's first shot, he may just play the black onto the yellow, play the plant, or set the yellow up over the corner bag.
If he plays that shot, he's just got to be careful that he doesn't move the black towards the other corner pocket where the red is.
He could go for reds, of course. I mean, both colours are out in the open, so he's spoilt for choice, really.
I quite like your shot, Kev. I quite like the black-yellow plant, but he's obviously seeing it very differently. So Neil's just seeing reds. He's not using his free shot for anything here. He's just going for reds. He's going to leave his red on the right-hand side as his last ball. Just drop that in, and you'll be on the black to the bottom left. It's amazing how different players see it different ways. You could poll a number of different top players, and they'll see 4 or 5 different versions of the shot there. Some will be saying yellow, some will be saying reds, and I quite like Neil's approach here. Not looking to move anything, just going to back himself to make the clearance.
Yeah, if he's going to leave the red on the right hand side till his last ball, I was just thinking he's going to have to take this one out of the pocket next and bring the white up to the centre of the table.
Yeah, I'm assuming both these reds go into the centre pocket, the lower one of the two past the yellow. And you can see that grimace on Neil's face because he needed that white to pull up a few inches shorter where it is so he could just drop the red into the centre and leave himself on the red just above it. Now he's almost straight or just off straight the wrong way.
Time's running down.
Oh, he's played this so well. What a great shot. That is a frame and match winning shot, and the tap on the knee from Jimmy Carney. He knows it, and it's now 3 drop-in pots to win this frame.
And heap more misery on Jimmy Carney. He just can't get the points he needs to secure his spot in Thursday's finals. But this will put Neil Raybone back to the top of the table. Like you say, he's probably not bothered who he plays in the last 4. It's the 4 great plays either way. But just cements his position at the top.
Yeah, just ultra consistent Neil, just never looked in danger of being dragged into a dogfight for a qualification for finals night, just all the way through, just been near the top, so consistent, so calm, and it's another great performance. 2 reverse dishes off Jimmy's foul from the breaks have been huge in this match. 2 foul from the breaks in a race to 4 is tough to deal with, and it is Neil that came out with a 4-1 victory. And as we've already touched on, Craig Marsh and Gareth Hibbert will battle it out next, and we will come back to that after the break. Welcome back to the IPA Free Sports Premier League of Pool. It's getting very tense here. We have just seen Neil Raybone move to the top of the table with a 4-1 victory, but it leaves Jimmy Carney sitting on 18 points with one match left. Craig Marsh now takes on Gareth Hibbert, and they are on 17 and 15 points respectively. So a Craig Marsh victory will take himself to 20. A Gareth Hibbert victory will take himself to 18. A draw will take Craig Marsh to 18, but because of the frame differences, it will put either Craig Marsh or Gareth Hibbert will go ahead of Jimmy Carney and put pressure on Jimmy in that final match. So we have 2 matches left in this second phase, and there is still a number of different things that can happen. So there we have Craig Marsh from Wales versus England's Gareth Hibbert. Craig on the left, Gareth on the right. Both players are really desperate for the win. Craig can still qualify with a draw, but he would need, he's going to need some help from Jimmy either way. But it's the win they're both after.
Yeah, the equations are getting quite simple. Gareth Hibbert has to win. A draw is no good. He has to win. He'd like to win 4-0, 4-1. For Craig, as you say, he could still qualify with a draw, but he needs the win as well.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We've been analysing the table in that break, trying to figure out what's going on. We've got 2 matches left, and I can tell you that the players are doing exactly the same thing. Jimmy Carney came in to me at the break and he said, "What's going on? What do I need to do? What's the league table?" He wants to analyse it. He's there. He knows what's going on, and he knows whatever happens in this match, he needs to get some form of result, whether that be a draw, whether that be a win in that final match. He cannot lose that match and go through.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tall order for Jimmy. To be fair, you know, he's the last 3 or 4 matches have not gone his way, and you know, he's going to be playing a relaxed, confident Simon Ward in that last match. You know, the way the form book's going, you don't expect him to get anything out of that match, so it could come down to the winner of this match, who will take their place in the Premier League finals.
And it's Gareth Hibbert who wins the lag and breaks first, but he comes up dry. So first opportunity to Craig Marsh.
His only consolation is that he's not left anything ultra easy.
Yeah, Craig looking at reds here. Oh, it looks a little wild with that first shot, but he was trying to make a couple of things happen at the bottom end of the table, try and develop that red and yellow. Didn't get anywhere near it.
I know it's early in the match, but that shot's going to give Gareth a bit of confidence to see Craig miss that by some distance, to be fair. That's yeah, it's certainly going to I think put a little extra step, a little spring in his step there. What he wants to do now is to capitalise on that mistake, you know, really ram it home and just leave Craig in his chair thinking about the miss. And you know, he's not cued as well tonight as he normally does, Craig. He's been a little bit off. I thought there was signs he was rediscovering that timing, but you know, can see he's just not quite there with his cueing tonight with that miss, because normally, you know, he would have buried that shot. Certainly would have got a lot closer.
Yeah, well, I think that's the pressure. I think we've seen it from all the players, and actually tonight we've seen Neil Raybone, who had already qualified, and he's come out with by far and away the most assured performance of the night so far, and that's probably down to the fact that he could just relax and play pool. The thing I find amazing is that these guys are all great champions. You know, Gareth Hibbert, former world champion. Craig Marsh, former world champion. You know, they're used to playing pool at the highest level under pressure. I think there's just something about a league format that is really, you know, almost ramping extra pressure onto them. He's already used his extension, so needs to hurry here.
not sure what he was worried about there. He may well leave the black as a double. No, this looks a good positional shot.
You see that white fizzing all the way up the table, and that is pinpoint position right at the top end of the table. Fantastic shot.
Yeah, just played it with a little bit of bottom right hand side, screwed the white back, and then when that white came back off the cushion, just widened the angle a little bit. Sorry, Simon, I think he'll be screwing the white back here. He'll be using the yellow that's near the left centre bag as a guide, or is he coming behind this?
I was just about to ask you about the black. Do you think the yellow nearest the pocket makes it a big pocket, or do you think that it almost could hurt the shot? Because if you catch it a fraction full, it could, make it miss.
I don't think it's really going to make too much of a difference. If he's hitting that yellow full, then he's missing the pot anyway. So, yeah, I think he's going to get this. It looks good.
And it is a very smooth finish from Gareth Hibbert. Had to play 2 or 3 fantastic positional shots through that visit to make the finish, but does complete the job with a double. And Kevin Barton has just ran to the interview area, and hopefully we're going to get a few words with Neil Raybone. Have to give him a few seconds. It's a long way for him to get all the way over for it. And I believe he is ready now.
Neil, the pressure was off a bit as you'd already qualified, but still all to play for.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, I was under pressure because I obviously qualified my last round of matches. But yeah, happy to play well, and I don't think I made a mistake really. And obviously, Jimmy had a few in-offs, but Jimmy's under a lot more pressure than me tonight. So.
Yeah, you can almost feel sorry for Jimmy. Everything he did seemed to not quite work out.
Going off the break at this level with this level of players, that's all it takes really. And obviously, he's got a really big match coming up, last match of the night, so it'll be good for the viewers.
Yeah, and the match now between Gareth and Craig, that's almost a shootout between them two to even have a chance of qualifying.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's between Gareth, Craig and Jimmy, so yeah, not all to play for really, and yeah, it should be good.
So you got a day off, and then the finals. Will you do anything special in your preparations?
No, I'll just be practicing tomorrow. I'm working in the day, but I'll be practicing tomorrow night, and yeah, just looking forward to Thursday. And if I play well, I've got as good a chance as anyone. So yeah, looking forward to it.
What would it mean to become the first Premier League champion?
It'd be brilliant. Obviously, the standard of players in the Premier League is fantastic, and the standard as a whole has been really good. So yeah, to be the winner would be great, really.
Well played, Neil, so far, and good luck for Thursday.
That's great. Thanks, Kev. Thank you.
Yeah, well played, Neil Raybone. A very, very relaxed and in form Neil tonight, and a great assessment of his game. Yeah, didn't really make a mistake at all, and punished all of Jimmy's mistakes. And he does sit at the top of the table, and he will take some beating next week. And Craig pushing the boat out there didn't land very good on his previous positional shot, and was left with a very tough double. And unfortunately, he's not been able to make it, and it's a chance that goes begging. This time he's left Gareth even more work for a counter clearance. The yellow above the black is a problem. The 2 yellows at the top of the table are also a problem.
Yeah, Neil all happy and smiley. He's he's got his place in the final secure. He's playing well. He's feeling confident. He can't wait for Thursday. You can tell that in his voice and his demeanour.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all been very good in the Neil Raybone world, pool-wise, for the last 12, 18 months or so. He's also got an opportunity, although there's no ranking points for the Premier League, but he's got an opportunity to finish the year as the number 1. He has a World Series event coming up that if he manages to win, or I'm not even sure if the semi-finals are good enough, but he's certainly going to have an opportunity to overtake Mark Farnsworth and become the number 1 ranked player.
Yeah, he just needs to win that tournament to secure his place at the top and to dislodge the long-time number one, Mark Farnsworth. But he's still got a tall order. It's a tough field over in the Netherlands for the semis and the final of the World Series. So we'll be bringing that to you in January.
January, yeah. In fact, Gareth is one of the other qualifiers. Oh, great shot from Gareth. Forced into the double when he flicked those two at the top of the table. Now that's gone in. He's still got the one above the black to work out. Well, I think the way he's just lining it up there gives you a clue that he's thinking about playing a double to the corner.
A few shots ago he did try to move that yellow. He was a little bit unlucky, but he just missed it. I think he may try and screw onto it.
Well, it's a risky shot because you're not guaranteed to move it or leave yourself on it anywhere. I thought he might try and get down the table, leave himself straight on the yellow that he's now going to play to the bottom left, and then it's a controllable double that you'd really fancy Gareth to make.
Yeah, but I think if he can screw it and just bounce it off, oh, that's almost perfect. He just wanted to hit it full in the face, virtually, just to bounce it off the cushion. And he's a little bit unlucky. It was a fraction off there. It was a difficult shot, very difficult.
Yeah, not only that though, he's moved the red in the way of the black, so just everything going wrong for him on that shot.
What can he pull out of the bag? He's gone for the up and down double. Hits the jaws, but doesn't go in.
Yeah, and to me it sums up Gareth Hibbert's Premier League season. Every time he seems to have, he did it in his first match tonight, and a really good first frame. That finish he pulls out in the first frame is fantastic, under complete control, and then he chases a finish in frame two, and it just doesn't go his way. And so used to seeing him take out finishes like that, and all of a sudden you're 2-0 up and you're looking great and you look like you're going to win, rather than it's now more than likely you're going to be 1-1 and you're bang under it again.
Yes, and Craig Marsh, good safety there.
Timeout.
Managed to get a foul out of Gareth, so he's got a free shot.
Time running.
And good opportunity to again keep his Premier League hopes alive. Tie things up at one frame all.
Just using his free shot to open up the table as he sees fit. Now has the table absolutely at his mercy. Those of you new to black ball will just be wondering what was going on there, but when your opponent fouls, you get a shot and a visit. So you get your first visit is a free shot. You can do what you want. You can pot your opponent's ball. You can move your balls around, as long as you fulfill the other requirements of a legal shot, as in hitting a cushion. And then you are just down to your one visit as a normal visit to the table.
Yeah, you don't keep that free visit in hand, so these black ball rules, it certainly sorts out the men from the boys. No insurance policy, it's all you need to do it here and now. Craig just composing himself, just knows these are easy. Just doesn't want to make any careless mistakes. Still wants to keep his momentum, his speed around the table. Doesn't want to stand still, but just taking those extra couple of seconds, a little extra walk round, just to compose himself. These guys are under a lot of pressure, even though they've been there, done that. They've never ever been in this situation before, even with all their tapestry of titles that they've got between them.
Yeah, they've both played well under pressure in the past. They've won tournaments, they've won world championships, but there just seems to be an extra level of pressure in this event that we've not seen before. And it's fantastic as a viewer. I've absolutely loved it.
Absolutely, as well as commentators and players, we are pool fanatics. We love watching the game, and the Premier League has certainly taken it to a new level. New exciting formats, and it's been great entertainment throughout all the 14 weeks that we've had.
Absolutely, it really has. We have a look at Craig's recent tournament history, and there's 2 titles on there. He won the Moroccan World Series event back in August before beating Steve Thompson in the final of the British professional event just 10 days or so ago. And after a barren couple of years, two seasons or so, back in the winner's enclosure and really is back to form. I think that's probably why I've been most surprised by his indifferent form so far this year in the Premier League.
So dry break from Gareth, a little bit of frustration there. Good split, there's 11 balls at the top end of the table, but he can't get one in the pocket, and then it's again first opportunity to Craig, and all these yellows go. So looking good for Craig to move into a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, just has to control himself here and maintain good control of the white. Everything's got a pocket, everything goes, no cannons required.
Doesn't want to cliss that red.
Boy, he's a touch fortunate there. You see you could hear the frustration from Craig. He knows he got away with one there.
Yeah, shouldn't have been anywhere near that red. But anyway, he's still on course.
I think the yellow he's nearest to does slide past the other yellow, so this is he's absolutely perfect here.
I like this pace that Craig's playing at. I think this is the pace that really suits him. He's not rushing. He's playing at a really nice speed. Looks as much in control tonight as I've seen him for a few weeks in the Premier League. So
yeah, he's a fluent player anyway, but I guess even as a fluent player, you've got to get used to the short nature of this shot clock and just find your refine your rhythm, if you like.
Yeah, it's finding the right balance between rushing and playing at a nice speed, with the clock shot pressure that's created, and that speed he was playing those 4 or 5 shots there. I think that is almost his optimum speed for this type of tournament.
Yeah, no, absolutely, couldn't agree more. I guess it gives you less time to second guess yourself, and you're absolutely right. He played very fluently and very quickly there, but he was never rushing once he was on the shot. He was still, the amount of time he spent on the shot was still very, very smooth and controlled. Have a look at Gareth's recent tournament history, and right at the top there, the British Open final where he lost to Mark Boyle. That was 10 days or so ago as well, and looked to be back to his best during that event, but coming up just short against Mark in the final. Another semi-final and a couple other quarterfinals second half of this season. Really knocking on the door of winning another title again.
Yeah, there was glimpses of his top form there at the recent tour event, and getting to the final is with the strength and depth of the field is a tremendous achievement, and really good to see him cueing the ball, hitting the ball well.
So a fantastic break from Craig. He makes a couple of balls. 2 balls fly in. A good opportunity. Just that red and yellow that have welded themselves together at the bottom of the table. That needs to be worked out. That's the biggest problem.
Yeah, one thing that people might not know about Gareth Hibbert is he was the #1 professional for a couple of seasons, sort of around 2015, 2016, culminating in winning the world title in 2016. And yeah, he was almost unplayable. He was playing pool. Fantastic standard of pool.
Yeah, he was one of the guys. He did the double up in Scotland, won the professional event as well as the Open event. Was winning tournaments so regularly that it was a shock when he went out. Hasn't quite got back to that level. Maybe in the last 2 years or so. It's been 2.5 years since he's been there. But he was very dominant at the top of the rankings. Now, Kev, how's he going to open up this yellow at the bottom? Is he looking yellow off the red, or is that red looks a long way from the pocket for that shot?
No, he can play that shot. It's all about the pace on this shot. He needs to get the pace right. needs to hit as much of that red as possible. No, he didn't play it well.
Up off the shot. It was tough because it was a long way from the pocket. Sometimes you have those shots and they're almost unmissable, but you could see there, you know, he's a decent distance from the pocket. I still fancied him to get it.
Yeah, it wasn't far off. He's only a few millimetres off, but I think he would have expected to get that.
Extension call.
He actually hit more of the red than I thought he could have done from the angle that we had here in the com box.
Yeah, he called it just a fraction too full in the end, didn't he?
Yeah. But if that black goes into the centre pocket, then this is a great chance for Gareth.
Yeah, and that red that's to the bottom right from the overhead, it looked a little bit tight to be able to get on it, but I think there's plenty of room for that red. And I suspect that might be his last ball as well. Just drop that in and black into the centre pocket. That's what he's looking at now.
Just got to make sure, finish this frame off. Don't know how close he can get to the black. Don't think he can get too close. Has he got any angle? Oh, he just had a little bit of angle.
Yeah, these look a lot easier on the screen than they actually are. Horrible little delicate shots.
With no pace on this one.
Played very, very well, and he ties the scores up at 2-2.
So this next frame could determine whether Gareth Hibbert can have any chance to progress
Well, this
to the next stage or not.
Yeah, you can see there. So a point, if Gareth, there's 2 frames left in this match, it's 2-2. If Gareth only wins one of them, gets the draw, he cannot qualify. He has to win the next 2 frames to have any chance. But looking at that league table, if he does win the next 2 frames, because of frame difference, he will go ahead of Jimmy Carney, meaning Jimmy has to get a point out of that final match to have any chance. And you have to feel that whichever way these 2 frames go, the pressure that Jimmy Carney's going to be under in that final match against Simon Ward, it's going to be tough for him to get anything out of it.
It is going to be tough. We alluded to that just before this match started. You know, Simon Ward is through. He's going to be feeling relaxed, confident, on a high. He's going to be tough to stop.
He really is. But I know that the one thing Jimmy doesn't want is he doesn't want Craig to win the next 2 frames. A draw, it means Jimmy just needs a draw. If Craig wins this the next 2 frames, then Jimmy has to win, and there's a big difference between having to win and having to get a draw.
Wow! Oh, he's got one in the end. I thought he was going to be unlucky there, but the yellow crept into the middle bag. There's one that went near the corner, this bottom left corner. Just don't know how that didn't go in. Then there was a red in this bottom right corner, and finally got one. And look at these yellows.
Yeah, they have come out very, very well for him. But I think you'd have, his eyes would have been dancing around the table.
Where's that gone? Just misjudged the cannon.
I was just going to say how he'd have been frustrated not to, thinking he wasn't going to make a ball and then did. But I was stopped in my tracks by the fact that he's played a slightly careless shot. He probably needs a cannon now.
If the yellow near this sort of blue spot, if that goes into the centre bag, he may try and play the cannon off that one now.
Do you think he's looking at some sort of plant shot, 3-ball plant in some way, maybe off yellow, red, and pop the one over the pocket, off the one in the middle of the table?
Well, he's got options. He's got a nice angle off this one into the right middle, but it leaves this one at the top end of the table sort of isolated. Oh, the pressure. I think if he's got the angle off this one in the middle, I think he plays it now, because he can still get onto this one at the top from his yellow that's nearest the black. Looks good.
Great shot.
But where's the white gone?
Oh, he's tapped the table. He knows that's not great. I think he's okay. He's tapping the table in disgust, but I think he's got enough angle just to be able to pot this and at least give himself a shot at the yellow at the top of the table.
Yeah, he'll be able to give himself a shot. It's going to be tough with his Premier League life riding on it. Oh, he's played that well. He's played that as well as he could have done. I think he can just drop this in, plain ball, and leave the white on the top cushion as we're looking now. So he's going to hit the side cushion as we're looking. I think he can just roll it in. Doesn't need to do anything too extravagant. He's taken the bull by the horns and played a superb positional shot.
Yeah, he's controlled that well, managed to hit the gap.
Superb clearance there, Gareth Hibbert. Under absolute extreme pressure. And now it literally is a one-frame shootout as to who has the last chance of qualification.
I think it's incredible. Here we are, 1 frame left in this match. And we know one of these players is going out, and we know one of these players will have a chance to qualify. We just don't know which one yet. It's incredible.
And it will be Craig Marsh to break. And he has potted from the break so far in his 2 previous breaks in this match. So can he keep that? Can he keep that momentum going on the break? It's all to play for.
Yeah, if he doesn't manage to make a ball and win this frame, he's going to really ruin those 3 missed pots. Missed chances. Probably sums up his season so far in the Premier League. Missed chances that you don't really associate with Craig Marsh.
Final frame, Craig Marsh to break, trailing 3 frames at 2.
But here we go.
Time running.
The all-important break. And the nod of the head there in disgust, and that tells you he is dry. So it's Gareth Hibbert that gets first opportunity, but for Craig Marsh fans, there is a lot of work to do here for Gareth Hibbert. He has got problems in 2 or 3 areas of the table. The black's gone safe. The cluster at the top end of the table's not nice at all. This is going to take some working out, and I think we will have a few twists and turns in this frame before we know which way it's going. If he decides to take reds, the reds at the bottom end of the table are no problem. The 2 reds at the top end of the table, yes, he can pot one of them, but he can't really create enough power because he'll be canning into the yellow to develop the other red. So I don't see how he develops reds, so I feel like he may be forced into taking yellows. Okay, so that's yellows he has elected to take. He has a bad yellow at the top of the table, and he has the black.
I've just been out in the arena, and you can feel the tension. It's incredible.
I can feel it all the way in here. It is. You just don't know which way it's going here, and I feel for Jimmy Carney, sat there knowing that there's work for him to do. It's all to come for him yet.
I think it's fairly easy for Jimmy. He's just got to get into the mindset that he's got to win, and I thought he can't play for a draw. If that's all he needs, he's just got to play as if his life depends on it, and he needs the win.
Yeah, well, he does. He now knows that a draw will be enough, but you can't go into a match with that mentality of I just need to draw. You have to still try and win that match. I think you're absolutely right. But there's a lot to come in this frame yet. That black, I don't think that black double. Look, to me, it looks like the red's in the way, stopping the back double. It's tight. But he's got a bad yellow before he even gets that far as well.
I think it will double because I think he could have moved it on his first yellow. So I was out in the arena and he had a more difficult pot on the yellow, but it would have developed the black. So I can only presume the fact that he hasn't moved it, that that it will double. But more twists in the tail.
Yeah, trying to use the reds to develop the one bad yellow. Just didn't quite get it right. But he has left a red in amongst those yellows, and I don't think this squeezes in. Oh, it does. Great shot from Craig Marsh. Now's your chance, Craig. If Craig gets that far, the double on the black won't be as much of a problem because that red will be gone. But can he hold himself together and get to that point? In this situation, Kev, would you've already made your decision to double the black? Will you be giving thought to try and play on it or try and move it?
Well, Craig has got the options to try and move it. So I think if he gets the opportunity, or that he will, because with it being sort of fairly close to the centre bag, position becomes a little bit more critical. I don't think that's one of his best.
Well, I think he's playing for the red into the centre pocket and then the one down the rail, which means he's going to be playing a red right at the bottom of the table as your last ball. And I don't see him creating an angle to develop the black, unless he can do it off this shot. And he can. Great shot.
That shot could have just kept Craig Marsh in the Premier League. He's just got to hold himself together now. Gareth Hibbert is fearing the worst. He's had a great campaign. There's been glimpses of his World Championship best form, but it's looking like he's going to come up a little bit short at the final hurdle. Anything barring a miscue. And this is the point that Craig needs just to keep himself in with a chance of progressing through to finals night on Thursday. There it goes.
And it is Craig Marsh that manages to win that last frame and get the draw, meaning that Gareth Hibbert is out of the Premier League. He fought very, very hard in that match and looked like he was going to get a great opportunity to give himself a chance, but Craig counter clears, and it's now down to the final match to see whether it will be him or Jimmy Carney that moves into finals night on Thursday. And we will be back to see Jimmy Carney play Simon Ward in the final match of Phase 2 after the break. Welcome back to the IPA Premier League of Pool. We have just seen a dramatic match between Craig Marsh and Gareth Hibbert. A fantastic finish by Craig Marsh to draw the scores level at 3-3 means he earns himself a point, moves himself into the top 4 and ramps the pressure up on Jimmy Carney in our last match of the night. Gareth Hibbert with that point will finish in 6th place and will miss out on finals night. So we say goodbye to the 2016 World Champion. Wow, last match of the night. It's Simon Ward versus Jimmy Carney. It's simple. Jimmy Carney needs a point or a win. Or he needs a point, a win is fine as well, obviously. Anything else, and he is going home, and it is Craig Marsh that goes through.
Yeah, it's crunch time for Carney.
Simon Ward versus Jimmy Carney.
He needs 3 frames out of the next 6 to secure that last space, but he's up against it. He's up against Simon Ward, who is already through, played well earlier. He's a tough match for anyone, and but with the extra pressure on Jimmy, is he going to get the chances? If he does, can he take them? We're about to find out over the next 25 minutes or so.
Yeah, and those 3 frames that Jimmy Carney needs is going to feel like a mountain to him. Jimmy Carney finished phase 1 with 17 points, tied at the top of the table with Simon Ward, and in second place on frame difference. But all the way through this second phase, it has been hard work for Jimmy Carney. He has struggled. He has not found the form he found in the first half. It has felt like the pressure is ramped up match on match on match, and here we are, 1 match left, and there's still that same pressure on him. I think it goes without saying that he needs to get off to an absolutely brilliant start. He needs to make a big break or get a dry break from Simon and get himself an early opportunity that he makes comfortably just to settle himself down. And there is that dry break from Simon. It's an interesting dynamic for Simon as well. Yes, it makes a difference where you finish in the table as to whether one plays 4, 2 plays 3, who plays who in the finals night. But I think with the 4 players that are there, I don't think any of them are really that bothered who they play. I think it's just all about finishing in the top 4. And I think Simon said just before this match that he put everything into qualifying. That almost it's hard to almost get himself up for this match, even though there's prize money on offer and there's points on offer for him. He knows his work's done in a strange way. So it is Jimmy Carney with that first opportunity. The reds are there for him. He has that 1 red above the black or near the black that he needs to work out. He could play it as a double. If he chooses to play on it, then he doesn't have much room. And therefore that's what he was trying to do. He was trying to possibly move the black and stay on the red. I don't think he was trying to move the red because it would have been tricky to move it and stay on it. He may feel that he needs to take it now. It's a tough cut, or he may decide to come back up for it. It was perhaps a bit too thin before. It looked a little bit easier from the overhead than it actually was when you saw the main camera angle. But at some point he's going to need to play on that red. Jimmy's going to be leaving that red nearest the black for his last ball, I think. He's going to be coming twice across. The black does go past the yellow into the centre pocket. It's going to be a tough pot, but if it goes in, it should be natural onto the black. That's probably as good as he could get on this red, but it doesn't make it easy. It's a tough pot. Oh, it's a great shot from Jimmy Carney. Fantastic shot under extreme pressure. That is a fantastic finish from Jimmy Carney under absolutely extreme pressure. A reverse dish off Simon Ward's dry break, and without question the best visit he's had in the second phase of this Premier League. He needs 2 more frames, but he is on his way. Hopefully Kevin Barton will be with Craig Marsh in the interview area. He's ran across to join him. And it'll be interesting to get Craig's thoughts after that final frame draw that he managed to get out of Gareth Hibbert. And obviously he's got a lot of interest in this match. And they are ready for us to go across to them, so let's go and join them now.
Craig, every match tonight has been full of drama. That was no exception.
Yeah, absolutely. I missed a bad ball to go 3-1 really, playing the ball off the red. I think if I get it, I think I win the match, but it happens, I suppose. But yeah, I got to sweat on now on this next one.
There's so much pressure out in the arena. I mean, it's tangible, isn't it? You know, because every shot, every frame is absolutely vital.
Yeah, it is. Well, at this stage, it is. Literally every single frame is massive, because I think it might come down to frame difference if Jimmy gets a draw, or maybe he wins by a point or something. So there's nothing in it at all. So he's right under it now. So that was a good finish he took out there, to be fair.
And Jimmy is under it. He's not had the sort of best results in the second phase, so he's up against it against Simon.
That's the nature of the game, though. I mean, you can easily lose 3 matches in a row against anybody, because they're all class players. So you know, if he gets through tonight, then back to it.
What's it like to play in with the pressure and the tension that's out there? You know, as commentators and fans, you know, we're loving it, but you know, what's it like to play?
Well, I enjoy it because it sort of makes me concentrate. It helps me concentrate a little bit, but I'd rather be sitting down, I'm not going to lie, but yeah, I do enjoy it. It is good fun as well, and that's what we all play for at the end of the day.
Okay, well, Craig, best of luck, and no doubt you'll be watching the rest of it with the rest of us.
Yes, we'll be having a look. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, no, he will be watching, keeping a very, very keen eye on this this match. It is simple. Jimmy Carney gets to 3 frames. He will be in finals night, and at Craig Marsh's expense. If he doesn't, Craig Marsh will be through to finals night to join Simon Ward, Neil Raybone and Mark Boyle, and all that to come on Thursday night here on Free Sports.
Is Jimmy Carney finding an extra gear from somewhere when it matters the most?
Well, that finish he took out in the first frame in his match was as good a finish as he's played so far in the second phase of the event. And as you say, when he needs it the absolute most, really was an impressive finish. And he is holding himself together very well here as well.
He would have loved that white to have bounced off another 1.5 inches. Then he could have put this one into the corner, screwed back, nudged the black over the middle. Have an easy 2 balls. As it is, he's got to put this one into the middle. He can either leave the double, or he can screw the white across onto the right hand side rail for this red into the bottom corner. He's going for the double. Probably the biggest shot so far of Jimmy Carney's Premier League career. Can he nail the double? He's missed it.
He's missed it narrow, missed it very narrow. Wow.
Did he get a kick? He may have got a kick.
That's missed by so far. Something strange has happened there. That was one I fully expected him to get, but he's never going to miss it by that far.
I heard a really funny noise when the white contacted the black. I think he got a kick.
Yeah, I think you must be right, because that was a very, very odd miss. It missed so narrow that it just didn't come off natural at all.
So good safety from Simon, but can Jimmy Carney pull off a Simon Ward-esque escape?
Yeah, if he hits this black, it's going to go very close to potting it.
I think he's got a natural angle as well. He's missed it.
Foul.
Yeah, I think he'll be disappointed with that. He had a nice angle there to attack that black.
And you can see he stayed in his bubble the whole way through this second phase, but you can just see that emotion starting to come out of him. He knows that was such a good opportunity to go 2-0 ahead. Get 2 of the 3 frames he needs to qualify. And Simon Ward just using his free shot to open up the yellows at the bottom end of the table. The inside one of those 2 yellows, or the one nearest the rail, the outside one, it's pots comfortably from where he is.
Craig Marsh hoping that his fellow countryman can do him a favour. But I think I'm right in thinking that if Ward wins this, he'll go top of the table and he will play Craig Marsh in the semi-finals of the Premier League.
Yeah, and the two great Welsh champions, they travelled down today to this event, so it'll be a very interesting journey back if Simon doesn't manage to win this match, or even if he does, they can be talking about Thursday night's semi-final. Either way, it might be an interesting journey.
What's going to be going through Jimmy Carney's head? He was 1 shot away from a 2-0 lead. And quick as a flash, it's 1 frame all.
Well, the equation remains simple for Jimmy Carney. He still needs to win 2 of the next 4 frames. He needs to forget about that miss or kick, whichever it was. Probably easier for him to deal with if it is a kick, just to say it was out of my control, get a next chance and get to work again. He certainly, that was as good and as composed as I've seen him in this second half. So there are some good signs, even though he lost that frame.
Simon completely unfazed. He knows he's secure, but he'll still want to win the match. There's still, finishing top dog at the end of 14 weeks. There's a lot of, these guys. It means a lot to them.
No, absolutely, and there is prize money as well. So there's plenty for Simon to be playing for. But you know what it's like when you've had to, he's achieved his high of the night. So sometimes it's hard to, even with all that going on, to get yourself back up for another battle.
And the noise that Jimmy didn't want to hear, the sound of a ball dropping in the bag, and the Reds look really delicious out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at those Reds. They have come out absolutely perfectly for him. Would have liked a few more rolls on that red to be able to take the red to the centre pocket and follow through for the red on the rail at the top there, but maybe cannoning into the yellow will stop that. So potentially a reroute here for Simon.
Station called.
I think he'll still take the one into the left middle. He's going right corner. That's what he seems to be gearing himself up for. So he's taking both of these 2 balls out at the bottom end of the table, working his way back up.
Depends how much room there is for that red that he's turned down to the centre pocket. Is there room for it to go into the opposite centre pocket? Probably is.
I think it goes into 3 pockets, that red.
Yeah, so that may be his last ball. Drop that into the centre pocket and leave the black from slightly further away, but it'd be straight on it.
That's the way he's playing it now. One into the left centre, and the one that's nearest the cushion, and then that red into the right centre. The black into the bottom corner. easy from here, but still got to be done.
The only thing by playing it this way, you're not guaranteed to be getting, you're not going to get close to the black, or I don't think you can get close to the black, so it just means the black will be missable, and he could end up hampered queuing on the black as well. I think that's why he's gone for it to the corner rather than the centre. This way he can get closer to the black, although he's probably got a fraction more angle than he'd love.
He's missed it. I don't think that's good. Is it going to go? Yeah, it just went in.
You could see there he did have too much angle on that previous shot. He's potted that, purposely potted it off the thick jaw to hold the white.
In goes the black.
So that really is punishing Jimmy Carney's mistake of not making a double, even if it was unfortunate with a kick. Makes the counter clearance and then has a break dish to back that up, and he moves himself 2-1 ahead of Jimmy Carney in a match that Jimmy Carney needs to get 3 frames on to qualify for finals night. And we will come back after the break to see if Jimmy Carney can make that comeback. And welcome back to the IPA Free Sports Premier League of Paul. It is currently 2-1 to Simon Ward in the last match of the league stages. A simple situation. Jimmy Carney needs to get to 3 frames to move into the top 4 and qualify for Thursday's finals night. If he doesn't, Craig Marsh will make finals night. It's looks like it's going all the way to the wire. We've got 3 frames left. Jimmy Carney needs 2 of them.
And he's got 2 breaks in those 3 frames. So while Simon broke and dished the last one, you know, Jimmy's just got to put that out of his mind. Couldn't do anything. Just got to focus on this break. Make sure that white doesn't fire into the middle pockets that he's been prone to doing recently. Brings that straight back. But nothing's dropping for him.
He's hit that break really well. Perhaps not quite as much power through the pack as he can, but there's still a lot of power in there, and he got that white straight up the centre of the table, but nothing drops for him, and that possibly sums up his second phase. Just can't get anything going. Makes a brilliant finish in frame 1. Gets unlucky with a kick in frame 2 and has had to sit and watch since. Can Simon keep the pain on Jimmy here with another finish?
It's certainly not going to be an easy finish from here, but you know, Simon's pretty much free rolling at the moment.
Extension called.
There's absolutely no pressure on him whatsoever. He can play as if he's in the club.
Yeah, and this shot could be key. Playing a long plant, trying to develop the balls on the side rail, and he has missed that plant by a long way. That's a massive surprise.
And developed Jimmy's bad balls in the process, so is this another twist? You could see what he's trying to do. He's trying to play the plant, fire the white into those 2 yellows just to open one up.
Sometimes you have those shots where the ball's over the pocket and you think, I don't need to be as precise with the shot to the corner, and you get a little bit loose. If he was trying to pop that into the corner and develop the yellow on the side, I fully would have expected him to make it. So I think he just took his eye off the pot because he thought it was unmissable because of the ball over the pocket.
Yeah, I think he was just pinching a little bit of angle just so that it could create the right angle for the white to go into the yellows, and just gave it a little bit too much.
But as you say, he has opened up Jimmy's reds, so now Jimmy does have a very, very good opportunity. The hardest ball left on the table for Jimmy is the red on the bottom rail, but it does go comfortably to the bottom right. It's just a case of when he decides to go across to get on it.
Is he going to try and push it out now? He did. And that's going to work out okay.
He held his breath for a moment there as he saw it going up towards that yellow. You can forgive him for feeling like that with the way a few things have gone against him so far in phase 2, but it has come out perfect for him. I'm a little bit surprised with that shot choice because he was knocking it potentially towards the corner where the yellow is over the pocket, but I guess he just, I'm going to play this with enough pace to try and get it right out into the open.
Yeah, there was a little bit of risk, but it was a good shot from Jimmy. He saw the opportunity to move it in. He moved it at a good pace, so even if it went near the yellow, it had a good chance of knocking it in, but he judged it perfectly, got behind the red, pushed it up the table, came out nice, and now he's just got to finish this frame off. Looks good.
Yeah, looks very good. I think he's gone a choice of 2. I think he can take the one nearest the rail and run through for the red into the right centre. Slightly off angle. He's going to be going away from the black, so we'll just drop this in and leave the white somewhere near where the red is now, and maybe roll it through a fraction. Oh, he was straighter than I thought. I thought he'd be going more to behind the yellow, but not a problem. In goes the black. So Jimmy draws the scores level at 2-2 with a very smooth counter clearance.
Yeah, that was quality there from Jimmy. That was that was character. That showed character definitely, and he needs to win one of the next 2 frames, and he's going to have 1 break, and he's going to be praying that he can maybe get a little look at Simon's break, but he's probably just going to assume that Simon's going to break and clear, and then just focus on his own break that's coming up, and try and get that frame that he needs to sneak in to the final 4.
Yeah, just needs to concentrate and wait for his next chance. And this is the reason why, when you look at his recent results, the last 4 on there, the bottom 4 on the list, losing to Gareth Hibbert, drawing with Mark Boyle, losing to Craig Marsh, losing to Neil Raybone, that is his second phase format. And after qualifying so strongly in phase 1, it's been a surprise to see his form so far in phase 2. Oh, it's a big break from Simon. Not what Jimmy wanted.
He's not giving Jimmy a sniff at his break. I mean, look at that break. He's got everything behind this. The red's flown into the corner bag. The yellow as well. And he's going to be having a look at the yellows. So I think Jimmy, all he can do now, as we said, just focus on his break. It's, to a certain extent, it's in his hands. He needs the pull gods to just smile a little bit on him when it comes to his break.
Yeah, he wants a chance similar to what Simon's got here. Not only has Simon made a ball, he's made 2 balls, he's been left with, or rewarded with, a phenomenal split. A split that a top professional of Simon's ability would expect to get 100 out of 100.
Maybe 99 out of 100, Simon. He's only human after all.
Oh, I expect perfection from these guys. No, just emphasising that everything was so wide open that he could have gone so many different ways, and they really are there. And it would be a major surprise for Simon not to complete the finish. And black, I suppose, is the only ball that is questionable.
Should be okay. Just run this white through. And well, it's not a gimme black. Certainly going to expect to get it. There it goes. So it comes down to the final frame of the final week of qualification.
Absolutely incredible. We have 1 frame left in the league stages. Jimmy Carney needs to win it to qualify for the top 4. If he doesn't, it will be Craig Marsh that goes through to finals night to join Simon Ward, Mark Boyle and Neil Raybone. And Jimmy staying focused, staying in his bubble. It's his break. It's in his hands.
Where's Craig Marsh? Where's he watching it from? Is he hiding behind one of the columns, or has he got his head in his hands?
Yeah, it would be very interesting to see whether he's choosing to watch this from close by, or whether he's just quietly gone to get himself away and be told what's going on.
I think he's gone out for some fresh air, Craig. He can't stand the tension either.
No, it's
Final frame, Jimmy Carney to
there really is
Trent,
plenty
3
of it out there.
frames to 2. Time running.
Here we go then. Jimmy Carney's break. He needs a ball. Oh, he's hit the break really well, but it's come up dry again. Oh. Oh, there's balls flying everywhere. It's balls hitting jaws left. How's that red not gone in? How did the yellow not go in? Oh, Jimmy.
I think Simon may be forced for reds here, which leaves the obvious problem at the plant at the top of the table.
Yeah, it's a tricky plant to make, isn't it? It's not one you can get right behind, and it's a tricky angle to make. May look to move into it, but it's quite a long way from all of the rest of his work, so he does need to work that area out. There is Craig Marsh. He is watching from afar. He is happy whilst Simon Ward is at the table.
I bet his phone is a little bit red hot at the moment. Is that spin going to take it into the yellow?
Oh, Simon Ward, what have you done?
Jimmy Carney's BPM has just doubled.
I believe he's total snookered himself, although timeouts, the referee is checking to see whether this is a total snooker, and he has called the total snooker. Can he bend around the yellow to hit these reds, possibly still make this plant? Worst case, take the pocket.
Oh, he's made the plant.
Oh, wow, what a shot. Incredible.
This is edge of your seat stuff. Another example of the shot making qualities of Simon Ward.
Extension called.
What is going through Jimmy Carney's mind?
No, that was an incredible shot. I was talking beforehand about how difficult that plant will be to make, even if he gets behind it, and he makes it from a swerve shot out of a snooker. Absolutely incredible shot. Worthy of winning any frame, but he's still going to need a good pot here.
Can he hold the white? Has he got to send it round? He's missed the pot. Oh my goodness. Where's Craig? What's Craig doing?
Well, he's had a touch of fortune in terms of he hasn't left an easy ball on for Jimmy. Jimmy's got a couple of options, but in truth, Jimmy should just be thrilled that he's at the table, because it looked like Simon Ward was going to clear up and knock him out of the Premier League. He does have the obvious problem of the two yellows at the bottom of the table.
You can't believe it.
There is Craig Marsh. Yeah. I was trying to laugh it off for now. Just cued that well, Jimmy. It wasn't an easy pot under the pressure.
Yeah, that was a lot better than it looked. It was one that you'd normally get in the club, but with the absolute pressure that he is under, that was a pretty good attempt.
So
he's had to slow down.
He's overhit that fractionally. He was looking for an angle on his next yellow to be able to go into those two yellows at the bottom, and does not have a good angle to do that. He may not even be able to see the one in the middle of the table over the middle pocket. He may have to play the yellow near the triangle area and come back up.
Yeah, that's the one. It's all about leaving the correct angle. After he's potted this one into the middle, he probably just wants to stun the white, maybe bring it back 1 inch. He wants to be off straight. He can't just drop it in. He's got to play it positively. That looks pretty good. And it's all about the cannon onto these two yellows. Will the pool gods finally smile on Jimmy Carney?
Just didn't catch that. He caught the cushion first. He wanted to catch the yellow first. He is not on the next ball. He is looking for a safety option. That was so close. If he catches the yellow before the cushion, he's perfect. Just flicks the cushion first, and yellow too thin.
He was a centimetre out.
He needs to rush the shot now as well. Shot clock is ticking.
Well, he couldn't stop. He couldn't stop Simon Ward having a shot on. I think I'd have been trying to put the yellow in front of the black, because they could have left the white ball still down at the bottom end of the table. This way, Simon can go for the one into the top left. If he misses it, the white's on the right hand side of the table and Jimmy's got no shot.
Well, he's missed that by quite a long way, but as you said, it was a bit of a free shot. He has left Craig. He has left Jimmy a look at this yellow, but what can he do with it?
Well, he can clip it into the top left as we're looking and get his prayer mat out. That's about as much as he can do.
Is the natural angle going to avoid the black? If it is, then he might be able to go up and down.
I think it probably is. He's got 6 seconds of his Premier League life left. He's gone for the double.
And that could well be that for Jimmy Carney in this year's Premier League.
It's still not a gimme. He's going to jack the queue up. He's not. Is he on that last red?
Oh, it's not good at all. He may have to take the red he was going to use to get onto the black. He may have to take the one to the bottom left-hand corner first. He may still cut the one to the top left, but it's not ideal. It was never going to be ideal. Drama till the end here. Shot clock is ticking once again.
Right into the heart of the pocket, and that shot could signal the end of Jimmy Carney's run in this year's Premier League.
Nicely controlled shot from Simon. So this black will knock Jimmy Carney out of the Premier League.
Oh my goodness!
Oh,
Craig
wow.
Marsh can't believe it. He's just walked off.
Does that yellow go past the black?
Jimmy's not wasting any time. This is all about the pace of the white ball. It looks good. It looks very good. It looks perfect. Wow, that looks tight.
Oh, Craig Marsh cannot believe what he's just seen.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Jimmy Carney is in the semi-finals of the Premier League in the most dramatic fashion possible.
That is incredible. Jimmy Carney somehow manages to make it through, and it's at Craig Marsh's expense. Had that black gone in, it would have been Craig Marsh in the final four, but it's not. It's Jimmy Carney. Okay, the absolutely incredible scenes here at the end of the league stages of this Premier League. And it comes down to that missed pot on the black by Simon Ward, and Jimmy Carney managed to hold himself together and pot those final 3 balls. It was a dramatic end, but it is Jimmy Carney that moves into the semi-finals, along with Mark Boyle, Neil Raybone and Simon Ward, and that is all to come next, or in 2 days' time, Thursday night, 7 o'clock on Free Sports.
And the semi-final lineup will be Neil Raybone against Jimmy Carney, and Simon Ward will take on Mark Boyle. 2 fantastic semi-finals, and we'll have the final straight after those 2 semis on Thursday night around about 9 o'clock.
Yeah, the whole programme starts at 7 o'clock, and the final should be about 9 o'clock, as you say. And if tonight's anything to go by, then it should be an incredible night's pool. So look forward for your company then. But for now, from everyone here in Solihull, it's good night.